The rivalry, the vengeance, and the history. These three elements all culminate to this day as these St. Joseph's Prep Hawks take on the LaSalle Explorers live here at West Aiken High School for the PIAA PCL 6A final. Welcome to a very brisk afternoon here as a pregame show. I will be your host, Dom Campanaro, and I'm joined here with fellow WSJP members Anthony Sorgi and Ryan Sullivan. Once again, this is WSJP, the student broadcasting club of the Prep. So before we get into each of the teams, let's start reviewing each of their schedules. So, Anthony, why don't you tell us about the 17th and George's finest team, the St. Joe's Prep Hawks?
Yeah, the march to Mechanicsburg started not here in Pennsylvania, but in Cleveland, Ohio. To start off the year, the Prep took a loss 35-21 against St. Edward's. But since they returned home to the Keystone State, this team has looked much better. 3-0 in September with wins over Erasmus Hall, Our Lady of Good Counsel, that one in Maryland, and then Father Judge, and then came the Explorers. That one was a heartbreaking 4 overtime loss, as many of you know. But then after that, wins over O'Hara, Roman, and Bonner. That takes us here to today, where after playing some really close games and some not very close towards the end of the year, Prep looks to move on to the state tournament.
Yeah, absolutely, Anthony. And as you said, these Explorer losses and the Eagles losses, they both hit the Hawks pretty hard. But despite the adversity, they still seem to get over the pressure and the suspense of these teams. And the main question, as what we stated, is about the quarterback position. It started before the season even began, battling between Trey Henning and Charlie Folk. And the sophomore Charlie Folk came out on top. And he's looking to show why he is the QB1 of this team. A lot of interesting schedule there. National schedule, Hawks did well, as you said, 2-1. And they had the one loss in the PCL, only to the LaSalle Explorers. So it's interesting to see how well they shape against this rematch. Will they get the revenge? I don't know. Figure it out. But on the other hand, let's talk about this Explorers offense. The schedule. Shelton Avenue's finest. Ryan, want to talk about the schedule?
I mean, let's just be honest at the end of the day here. LaSalle has not played the best teams in the world. I mean, you start off your year against Harrisburg. I mean, not the greatest start in the world. Then you go up against Malvern Prep, a decently good school. You only drop 21 points against them. Then you have some really easy wins here. The likes of Haverford, though, they were a pretty good team this year. They were one of the better teams in the state, rising up this season. Then you go up against St. Joe's Prep. That was a very, very, very close game. We were live here on WSJP, commentate live for that one. And now, you just basically dominate everybody ever since then. You go up against Father Judge, Roman Catholic. Roman Catholic, a decently good team, but St. Joe's Prep obviously dominated them as well. So LaSalle this year, not the best schedule in the world. Definitely not going to say they're a fraudulent team, because they definitely have some great players like Gavin Sidmore, like Joey O'Brien, and others. But at the end of the day, LaSalle has not had the greatest strength of schedule in the world. That is why some people, especially in our inner circle, think that the Prep is the better team than LaSalle, and we'll see if they can prove that here today.
Yeah, totally, Ryan. And the thing is, it's not mainly about strength of schedule, it's about the overall outcome. If you win the games, you're a good team. Then Malvern Prep ranked second in the state according to Max Preps. I don't know about that one as a Prep fan, but they are ranked, they are. And yeah, as a student, but that's what that is. And yeah, no, LaSalle's roster is still very good. And when you're like a rival, you're this close to the team, you're going to have those tough games. And dropping 35 points against this Hawks defense will get you soon. I mean, it's a bit of a deficit, but overcoming that and still being able to hold the Hawks team to only 17 heading into overtime of that last matchup against the Hawks, still very impressive regardless. But since we've seen both of the schedules, we gotta get to the offense. And Coach Roken, coach of the Hawks, always enjoys having really good offense. Anthony, why don't you tell us about this newly revamped Hawks offense?
Yeah, Dom, you've already talked about Charlie Folk and Trey Henning as passers, but there's plenty of depth otherwise. Yes, Charlie Folk has a 57.2% completion percentage on the year, 1,573 yards and 19 touchdowns. In the rushing game, Meanwhile, the loss of Isaiah West has hurt, but Will Vokalos and Kai Billups have stepped up big time for the Prep. In the receiving game, Jet Harrison has an average of 19.7 yards per catch on the year. He has been the number one receiver for this team as of late. You also look at Elijah Turner, Rob Novotny, and Ramir Hardy. They are all really solid weapons for this Prep offense as well.
Absolutely right. And it is built around Charlie Folk, as you said. This team is designed to be built around these quarterbacks. And they've proven 6 wins. They've dominated each and every one of these. Maybe aside from that good council win, but if you get over that deficit in that performance, you have a really, really solid team as per usual with this Hawks offense. Charlie Folk has had a really promising season. Issue was his turnovers, as you said, but he's gotten over that deficit and he's still performing to what the expectations are of this Hawks team. But just as good as this Hawks offense, this Explorers team also has some really good players. Ryan, you want to tell us about Cheltenham's offense?
And as we started off with Charlie Folk for the Prep. Let's start with Gavin Sidwar for the LaSalle Explorers. You talk about Gavin Sidwar. This guy is very good with his footwork, but I think the Prep's going to have to force him out of the pocket today. He is not that good under pressure. When talking to other guys from other teams and whatnot, they say he does not work well under pressure. You got to put the pressure on him. I'm looking for the Prep to rip through inside against some of those tackles for the LaSalle Explorers. You talk about Jason Mitch, you talk about Strats. These guys do have really good rip-throughs on the inside, very good swim moves as well. That's a very hard move to perfect. Let's not forget about that. But getting back to Gavin Sidwar right now, I don't know if he's going to be able to deal with the pressure, but something that he does do well with is his footwork. He has some of the best footwork in the PCL. That's the reason he has so many offers right now. He's also a very accurate quarterback. In the last game against St. Joe's Prep, he went 32 of 45. That's a 71% completion percentage, 226 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, and once again, did not run the football that well. Only 1 carry, didn't even have a yard on that. So if the Prep can force him out of the pocket, you know he's not going to run. You have someone like Anthony Sorgi, Cam Smith spying on him, then maybe you'll be able to take him down in the backfield. But, he loves to get it to his first read. When you watch his film, that's why the ball gets to Joey O'Brien a lot. I'll get into him in just a minute here. But Joey O'Brien, as we know, one of the best receivers in the PCL, he loves to get the ball to him. But, this Prep's defense is still number 1 in the state. Even though 35 points was put up against them, against LaSalle, 0 points at halftime. We have to remember that as well. Obviously, there was not much of a defensive game in the second half. But, I think these defensive ends really do need to force them out of the pocket. If they do need to get around the edge, you got to make sure you don't over-pursue if you are St. Joe's Prep. But anyway, getting into our running backs, you got to look at Joshua Simmons, the sophomore, doing so well at the current moment in time. Didn't have that great of a rushing game against the Prep. 3 carries, -3 yards. I mean, an average of minus 1 yard a carry. That's not that good. But guess what? They use him a lot in the receiving game. 9 catches, 35 yards and a touchdown. They love to use him on the screens. They have to get him the ball in the screen as well. They love to get him through that A-gap. They love to get him on those sort of screens. That's where the Prep is going to have to dominate. They're going to have to dominate that A-gap because you don't want him getting through those screens. And they like to send their offensive line out. They like to send them to sort of just run at everybody.
This on these things, we just want to give that to you. I figured that should be floating around.
Thank you. Anyway, I'm sorry about that. LaSalle, they love to just send their interior offensive line out to kind of just distract the St. Joe's Prep linebackers. That is why you saw Anthony Sorgi, Cam Smith kind of just ignore the interior offensive line last game, which is something they can't do today. But you got to make sure that offensive line does not blow you up because Joshua Simmons, he will take it. I mean, once again, and when they do run the ball to him, they love to get him through the B gap. He is more of a playmaker more than a team player, in my opinion. If you watch his film, he's not really too interested in leading with the blocks, running with the blockers. He's kind of just interested in just running through and making a play. The Prep would have to take advantage of that non-discipline from him or lack of discipline from him. And then they run a 2-back system as well. Desmond Ortiz, he's not the fastest in the world, but let me tell you something right now. He can run. He's not the fastest in the world, but he runs with power and he runs with explosiveness. If you dive for his ankles, he will juke you. I guarantee it. You cannot be ankle divers today if you're on the Prep. You got to wrap up well. You got to target those hips. You got to stay low, make the play, and then obviously Joey O'Brien. I mean, last game, 9 receptions, 118 yards, 2 receiving touchdowns against St. Joe's Prep. I'm very concerned about him. I'm not going to lie. As a student of St. Joe's Prep, I'm very concerned. I mean, when you watch his film at the last game against the Prep, you put Samaj Hill, Messiah Acree on him pressed, he's just going to head top you. But if you give him cushion, he has one of the laziest releases I've ever seen. But then he's going to run a slant, and it's just too easy for him. So you have to make sure you get that safety help. You have to make sure that those safeties have a running start. So just get the ball out of there. You don't need an interception. You just need tip passes. You got to make Gavin Sidwar hesitate to throw him the football. That's what you got to do here today. And then John Patrick Oates. There are some things about him that I think the Prep should notice. If they run John Patrick Oates as the H-back, then they're going to be running play action. I guarantee it. He is not a blocker. He is a receiving tight end. Now, the reason I don't think he's going to have the greatest game, and he did not have the best game against St. Joe's Prep previously, is because of the fact that they run man-to-man. He thrives against his own defense. He thrives through that open middle of the field. So you have to make sure that you keep that man-to-man going. And once again, if he's the H-back, it is going to be a play-action pass. I guarantee you right now. So that's really all I have on LaSalle, but they have a great offense right now. The Prep, they have to make sure that they shut down this running game. You have to make sure you have safety help on Joey O'Brien. I would say Haskell probably has to take a little more reps at defensive tackle just so they don't give up those screens.
Yeah, Ryan. And the thing is, you'll probably hear Joey O'Brien a lot throughout this broadcast, but he's simply that good. He's just a dual threat that like college, like football in general has really just like loved recently, and he's really the pinnacle of it right now. He's like Travis Hunter in high school, which is kind of scary to say, but you have the NIL deals, I guess.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that duo as well with Gavin Sidwar, the youth here as well. It's only a junior, which, as you said, it's like this whole PCL is built around the youth, and that's incredible to have. You have the Charlie Folk, and now you have Gavin Sidwar. It's just built around these young guys getting experience, and it's proving to be successful. So let's see how this Explorers offense will deal with this rough defense, but they could put up a lot of points. Who knows? Anyway, let's turn to the defensive side. Let's point out this Hawks defense. I mean, best of the best you could say in Pennsylvania, but Anthony, what do you have to say about this Hawks defense?
The Hawks defense has been great this year, Dom, allowing an average of 20.8 points per game. The defense has stepped up, especially in recent games. On the line, Alex Haskell has been great. And in the secondary, you're talking about Messiah Acree back there. He's made some solid plays, but the linebacking core is what has really done it. Brandon Lockley, Anthony Sackett, Cam Smith, they have led the way all year. They look to do it again today and lead the Hawks to a PCL championship.
Yeah, this Hawks defense has just always been consistent in the past 6 years of Broken's tenure as a coach here. And it's just really proven to be that good. I mean, you got Sack of the Notre Dame committee. You might hear from him on Instagram later today. Who knows? I might not be spoiling anything depending on the outcome. But yeah, no, this Hawks defense is built to be good, and they execute that perfectly. The huge stops here, as you said, they're going to be big. The red zone, they'll lock down your defense, lock down your offense, but it's very important to know how well-rounded this team is. They may have lost Maxwell Roy before the season, as you said. Still very good, though. Let's talk about the other hand. The Explorers did have some great stops last time they played the Hawks, but what about the overall season?
All right, I'm sorry, but one thing I have to point out about the offense, once again, I couldn't bring it up. I want to bring up their fullback, Brian Christie. This guy is going to be the reason you stop them on offense. If he's the H-back, I guarantee they're running the football. If he's in the shotgun, they're passing it. That's all I got to say about him right there. But when you talk about this LaSalle defense really quick, and we don't have that much time, but I will bring it up really quickly. I want to talk about Jamel Williams really quick. This guy's not that quick out of his stance, but guess what? He is very, very fast getting to the quarterback. He makes plays on the ball. That is something you have to take into consideration about him. They have one of the best linebacker cores in the PCL at this current moment of time, Christopher Filippo. This guy, he can play in the safety spot, but he plays like a linebacker. This guy can hit hard. You got to make sure that you contain him at all times. Teams have a hard time pulling against him. If you're a pulling offensive guard, you have to make sure that you do a good job pulling against him. Don't get off your block when you're blocking against him. Dylan Clare is another one. Got to make sure that you block him at all times. This guy, he's not too fast getting to the line of scrimmage, but he gets to the quarterback really, really fast. Once another guy, make sure you stay on your block right there. And really, their secondary. You look at Justin Hawkins. He does cheat a little bit in the backfield, but he does stay on the receivers very, very well. He could have a very good game. He might be on Jet Harrison a few times. Jet Harrison's done a good job getting open, but you have to make sure that we can get open against this guy because he stays on receivers very, very well.
Yeah, and as we're speaking, the Hawks and the Explorers are coming out. The Explorers band's really getting at it. But regardless of this, yes, this Explorers defense, they got a new trio in town, as you said. Hawkins, O'Brien, and Filippo. I mean, again, O'Brien again, have we not said it enough? Might be sickening at that point. He might have a disease, but it's incredible how we have. And they can catch on as well, and they can lock down this team really well. See how the Hawks counter it. But as we're about to run out of time, I want to get into predictions real quick. I mean, this is a big matchup. This could be Super Bowl-esque. Who knows? But I want to hear from all of us. Who do we have to win the game? We'll start off with Anthony.
It's going to be a close one. This is the two best teams in Pennsylvania playing, frankly. And I think that the win is going to go to the Hawks, but it's going to be close. St. Joe's Prep 31, LaSalle 28.
All right, what do you say about this score?
I thought about what I was going to say yesterday, and I've come up with this. The great Francis Ngannou. He lost twice. Once to Tyson Fury, once to Anthony Joshua. But every single time, he got back up, and then he won his most recent fight. The Prep, they've lost twice. They're going to win this one. I'm calling it right now. I'm going to go 28-24. St. Joseph's Prep. Trust and love.
Very respectable scores. For me, I think it'll be 30-13. The Hawks pull out. I think Broken's hiding some stuff in there. I'm going to quickly say I think the Hawks will blow out this first quarter. But that's going to be it for our pregame show. Sorry to cut it off so early, but you're going to hear from Gavin Heinerichs and Sean Drosnock for this game. So enjoy and keep on watching.
Thank you.
I have no idea.
35 days since these teams last met, and all high school football fans have been eagerly waiting for this day to come. The rematch between the number 1 and number 3 team in the state is finally here, but this time the stakes are higher than ever. Your St. Joe's Prep Hawks are looking to take down the still undefeated LaSalle College High School Explorers in a win-or-go-home situation. Playoff high school football is here, and alongside me this afternoon is my color analyst, Sean Drosnock. Sean, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great, Gavin, especially sitting amongst here amongst the LaSalle fans. You can feel the energy in the building, how highly anticipated this game is for both schools, both student bodies.
Yeah. Definitely, Sean. I mean, coming into this game, LaSalle, of course, looking to maintain that perfect 10-0 record, 4-0 in conference. Some big wins, beating the Prep in quadruple overtime the last time these two teams met by a score of 35-34. It'll be really interesting to see what happens, especially with LaSalle now having 3-star senior wide receiver Julian McFadden to add to their offensive arsenal.
Yeah, not to mention the people LaSalle has back, but the people the Prep don't have. Last game, they had Isaiah West. They don't have him this game. That's going to be a huge factor. Obviously, Isaiah West, 4-star running back, committed to Ohio State. That will be a huge blow for the Prep in their offense. We've seen Kai Billups step up this season, but can he fill the role today?
Heck sends this one away, and it is received by Acree at around the 10. Acree finds a hole up the middle. Acree beats everyone. 1 minute left to beat attack. Acree down the sideline. Acree at the 30. Acree at the 20, and he's pushed out of bounds at the LaSalle 20-yard line. Messiah Acree.
What a statement play by the sophomore DB to start this game. You had to come out, and you just had to come out and get the whole momentum on your side, and he definitely did that with that play. Huge return from Messiah there to put the Prep already in the red zone to start the drive.
Acree not wasting a second for the Hawks. They are already threatening, just on the brink of LaSalle's red zone. Now we're going to get a first look here at this Hawks offense.
And the key, Gavin, here is you're already in field goal range. So with Leo Ritchie, especially kicking the ball, hasn't missed a field goal since he came to the Prep, that you can at least walk away here with points as long as you can hold on to the ball.
Folk in the shotgun, McConnell to his left, Billups in the backfield, takes the snap, hands it off. Billups trying to find a hole up the middle. He can and is swallowed up at the line of scrimmage by John Leuth.
Yeah, Gavin, I've been saying it all year. Kai Billups is a faster running back and he's smaller. It's crucial that you get him to the outside. He is extremely fast. He is extremely agile. But he's just not big enough to push the pile like Isaiah West can. They have to get him to the outside. They have to create space for him, get him towards the sidelines, and he'll be a huge threat.
Yeah, Billups, I mean, only 5'8", 170, a lot different from Isaiah West's 5'11", 205 frame. That pass nearly intercepted by Charlie Folk. Trying to throw a screen there to Jet Harrison. O'Brien gets his hand in there for the tip ball.
Yeah, Joey O'Brien, best player in PA, dual threat for LaSalle, coming up huge there. Force a 3rd down and 10 here for the Hawks.
O'Brien, multiple offers, just picked up another one at the beginning of this week from the University of Georgia. Like you said, best player in the PCL, plays both sides of the ball. An overall great football player in Joey O'Brien. Jumping at the line, that's going to be Leuth, and it's going to be offsides on LaSalle.
Yeah, Gavin, that's a huge play there. 3rd and 5 is a lot better than 3rd and 10. Rogan and Charlie Folk should definitely be able to do something with this, pick up this 1st down, get closer towards the end zone.
Folk looking to take control of the offense. 3 to his right, 1 to his left. Fakes the snap. Now waits. Decision-making has been an issue for Charlie Folk. He's seen to do fine so far this game. Hands it off to Billups. Billups right up the middle. Finds a hole. He's going to be awfully close to that 1st down marker. Will he get it? They're saying he will. 1st down, St. Joe's Prep.
Yeah, there's Billups almost proving me wrong. Takes it up the middle. Just kind of pushes a few guys forward for that 1st down. Huge 1st down there for the Prep. Now 1st and goal. Great run there by Billups.
Yeah, Billups really picked up that load, you say, that Isaiah West was kind of taking control of when he unfortunately got injured against LaSalle actually this season. He's 84 carries, 457 yards, and 5 TDs on the season. So Kion Billups, of course, now RB1 for the Hawks. Definitely going to be in that same position next year as well. Folk Receives the ball, hands it off to Billups. Billups hurdles, tries to find a hole again. Be in for a gain of 5, second and goal from the Explorers' 5-yard line.
Yeah, that one was extremely close to breaking for a touchdown. Billups had the hole on the left side in between the tackle and guard. He tried. There was a LaSalle defender who got tripped up and went down to the ground. Billups tried to get over him, but it just slowed him down a little bit too much. But if not, he would have had that free path to the end zone.
Three receivers out there. That's Rowe, Hardy, and Harrison. Nanum's going to flip it back to Folk. Folk hands it off to Billups, and Billups is swallowed up by John Leyuth in the backfield.
Yeah, Gavin, I know you like to put a lot of stock in the run game, as the head coach, Roken, does. But I think it's time to get the passing game involved. You have some decent receivers in Ramir Hardy, Jet Harrison. And while Billups does have the talent and the potential to be a solid running back, he is still developing, and it's a really tough game for him against this LaSalle defensive line. I would put a lot of faith in Charlie Folk.
Steinmetz subs in for Novotny, so 4 receivers now for the Hawks. Julian McFadden also subs in to play DB for LaSalle. Rowe in motion. Folk takes the snap. He has time, looking to scramble. Makes a spin move towards the end zone. Will he get there? No, he won't. They'll say he's short. Fancy feet, though, by Charlie Folk there.
Yeah, Gavin, that's something we saw a lot last year out of Samaj. Charlie hasn't really come into the running quarterback yet, but we kind of saw it there. We saw it a little bit last game against LaSalle, too. He had a couple scrambles. I really thought he was going to go down behind the line. Great job of Charlie Folk to really extend that play, get him close. 4th
and goal from the LaSalle 1-yard line. Folk in the backfield with McConnell, Saka, and Billups. Billups right up the gut into the pile, and he's in for 6.
Kai Billups just pushing the pile forward, really trying to make me sound like an idiot here. I mean, I said he can't do it, and he really can, and he's done it twice this drive, once for the touchdown, and a big part of that is Anthony Saka blocking. He's been in on a lot of those plays this year, blocking at the goal line, at PATs on field goals. That's definitely a huge benefit for the Prep to have a guy that big out there pushing the pile with Billups.
Definitely. I mean, Kyan Billups just looked unfazed running up the middle there. Little hit around the goal line, able to fall forward in for the touchdown. Ricci comes out. His kick is up, and it's good. Leo Ricci now 39 for 39 on the season for PATs.
Yeah, and Kai Billups, really, he didn't really push the pile there. He almost kind of jumped over it. Like he kind of elevated himself up over the goal line. That was pretty impressive. And, of course, Ricci has been perfect since he got here, 39 for 39. That's why he's a D1 commit, UConn Huskies. Huge benefit for the Prep.
39 for 39 on PATs, 5 for 5. Field goals for Leo Ricci. 7-0 St. Joe's Prep. Quick early lead. Definitely different so far than last meeting against LaSalle. Last meeting was a lot of defense, nitty-gritty until the end, where overtime kind of went back and forth. That's what ran that score up so much. Prep comes out quickly, and that's due to Messiah Acree's 80-yard kick return.
Yeah, Gavin, like you said, if you look at the score from last Prep LaSalle game, you'd say, I think it was 35-32, something to that effect. You'd say, wow, that's a high-scoring game, 2 high-power offenses. But really, there wasn't a point until I think the 3rd or 4th quarter. It was 14-14 going into overtime.
Ricci's kick is away. Received in the end zone by Chris Filippo. Filippo's not really going to get anywhere around the 22-yard line. And so here comes Gavin Sidwar and the Explorers. Because Sidwar, of course, recently decommitted from Rutgers. Still a 3-star prospect. Tons of offers that he's going to be able to choose from. But this LaSalle offense is really stacked, Sean.
Yeah, and Gavin, last game against the Prep, Sidwar had a great game. 32 for 45, 71% completion, 226 yards, 4 touchdowns. He did have the 1 interception to Brandon Lockley towards the end of the game. But other than that, he looked almost unstoppable. So he'll be looking to do more of the same today.
Sidwar drops back, throws over the middle. That's John Patrick Oates. Oates near the first down marker. They'll say he got there. So a quick play, quick first down for LaSalle.
Yeah, that's just Sidwar and Oates continuing to find that connection that they've had all season. Definitely, other than Joey O'Brien, Oates is his favorite target this year.
Sidwar in the pocket alone, 5 wide. Ortiz out now playing a receiver. In motion is Desmond Ortiz. Takes the snap, throws it. That's going to be McFadden. McFadden off the screen, runs into a brick wall. Hello, Anthony Saka and Sean Stratz on the tackle.
Yeah, Desmond Ortiz is a huge receiving threat for the Explorers. He's a littler back, only 5'8", 190 pounds, but they've used him out of the backfield as a receiver a lot this season. Last game against the Prep, he had 3 receptions for 46 yards and a receiving touchdown. So he is definitely a dual threat running back, and that has been a theme for LaSalle all year.
Definitely, Sean. Hawks have Saka and Cam Smith line up at the linebacker position. Taking the snap is Sidwar. Sidwar, quick throw over the middle. That's Joey O'Brien. O'Brien with a nice snag. Guarded tightly there by Messiah Acree. Regardless, better offense gets the Explorers that first down.
Yeah, the real problem with Joey O'Brien right now is that the Prep has no height to guard him. He's 6'4". He's a skinnier guy at only 185, but he's still just so tall. Messiah Acree is a shorter defensive back. Samaj Hill is barely 6 foot, so that's just going to be a huge benefit for LaSalle this game.
New personnel in the backfield for the Explorers. Handoff on the ground, fighting to get back to the line of scrimmage. He will, but just barely. Not too sure who that was on the carry. It's going to be Azir Nelson for the Explorers.
Yeah, that's just what we've seen all year. The entire Prep defense in on a stop. Very rarely do you see solo tackles for this Hawks defense. It's always a group of a bunch of people. That time, I believe it was almost the entire offense. Defense.
7-0 here at Wissahickon High School. Beautiful fall weather this Saturday afternoon. Sidwar drops back, looking over the middle, tries to go upstairs to O'Brien, and he won't get there. That one's going to be out of the reach of O'Brien and incomplete. Calabardino dragging him to the ground after the fact. LaSalle fans want unsportsmanlike conduct. They won't get it. And I honestly didn't really see too much there. I mean, Calabardino was already making the tackle. He was kind of falling on to Joey O'Brien. He couldn't really have gotten up.
Yeah, Gavin, these fans kind of reacted in a strong way, but I'm not sure Calabardino didn't know O'Brien had the ball. Because like I said, O'Brien's just so much taller. He went over top, and Calabardino went low to make the tackle. I thought that Calabardino thinks O'Brien had the ball there.
Cam Smith looking to come off the edge on this blitz. He will. Smith on Ortiz. Sidwar is able to get it out, and that one's going to fall incomplete. Intended receiver John Patrick Oates. Nice defense there by Roman Calabardino.
Yeah, Calabardino's definitely been a bright spot for the Prep this year. Had an interception against Erasmus Hall in the beginning of the season. He's looked good almost all season. Just a big play there. Fourth down.
4th and 9 for the LaSalle Explorers, and Gavin Sidwar still out there with the offense.
And Gavin, the thing is, this is not 4-down territory. If they gave the ball away to the Prep here, they'd be in the
I do not agree with
territory.
Coach Gordon's decision on this one. But regardless, Sidwar is going to take the snap, and he's going to punt the ball away. So, good punt there by Gavin Sidwar. That one's going to roll and nestle down inside the 15, more like the 11. And so, I mean, Coach Gordon kind of fooled us all there. Got the job done, I guess. A little bit unconventional.
Yeah, and Sidwar with a great punt. Not often do you get to see a quarterback put up a punt, but great punt there. Pin the Prep inside their own 20, really almost at their own 10. So Charlie Folk and his guys will have a much longer field than they did last time.
Yeah, I mean, the Hawks really did a nice job on that defensive outing of getting to Sidwar pretty quickly and not letting him have too much time. There was a lot of slants and a lot of screens, and that was due to Anthony Saka and Cam Smith. I saw Cam Smith a couple times come off that edge. Cam Smith, of course, the Penn State recruit, top 100 in his class linebacker in the state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and Gavin, Desmond Ortiz, the running back, picking up a lot of blocks on Cam Smith and Brandon Lockley, definitely protecting his quarterback on that drive.
Rowe in motion on the jet sweep, looking to turn upfield. He gets to about the 15, where he'll be brought down pretty hard. And that's going to bring up 2nd and about 5.
Yeah, Gavin, Jameer Rowe has been a little bit of a rushing threat for the Hawks this year, as well as a receiving threat. Last game against the Explorers, 16 receptions for 187 yards. Huge game from Jameer Rowe there. Was the Prep's leading scorer and really their only bright spot on offense.
Folk takes the snap, hands it off to Billups. Billups bounces off a defender, finds a hole, nearing the first down marker. Will he get there? They're going to mark him just a bit short. It's going to be 3rd and 1. But a nice run there by Kion Billups. Billups really showing us he kind of can play that power back role and get those gritty yards up the middle.
Yeah, Gavin, Billups is not a big back, only 5'8", but he's really pushing the pile. He's really running tough, and that's what you love to see.
Hardy, Rowe, and Harrison out there for the Hawks. Not too much Elijah Turner so far for St. Joe's Prep. Novotny also out there at the tight end role. Vokalis in the backfield, and it's going to be a timeout called by St. Joe's Prep.
Yeah, I wonder if Roken just wanted to kind of it's an important 3rd down. You don't want to punt from inside your own 25. That gives LaSalle really good field position. You'd like to avoid that if you can. And 3rd and 1 is completely manageable. That's easy to pick up, so you can't make a mistake here. Roken probably just wanted to take a timeout, settle everybody down. Novotny hasn't really seen a whole lot this game. I mean, we're only a couple minutes in, but he had a big role against LaSalle last game, so I wonder if they're going to try to get him involved on this play.
Hey, Prep fans, want to stay connected with the club? Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on our Twitter page at SJP Broadcasting for updates regarding each and every broadcast. And follow our sports page at SJPreps_sports for live scores and stats from every Prep game. Go Prep. Folk hands it off to Billups. Billups bouncing off Khalil Stewart. Stewart with a nice block there. And that's going to secure the first down for the Hawks. So the chains will move and a fresh new set of downs to come.
Yeah, Billups really doing his job there. You didn't need to pick up 8-10 yards. You just needed to get the 1. And he followed his blocker, Khalil Stewart, used him to push the pile. Great run there by the junior running back.
Stewart, of course, highly touted recruit. 3-star going to Syracuse. Actually was committed to Maryland at the end of last year. Flipped that at the beginning of this year. And now is headed up to upstate New York. Folk once again to Billups. Just if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of mindset for Coach Roken. Handing this ball off to Billups until it really doesn't work. He gets about 2 on that carry, 2nd and 8.
Yeah, and if we're gonna if Roken's gonna rely on Billups all game, I'd like to see him get a little bit more to the outside because he is doing a good job on the inside this game, better than I thought he would. But it's still almost undeniable that he's better when he gets towards the sideline and he can use his speed.
Folk fakes the snap. Joey O'Brien lined up with Ramir Hardy in what looks to be almost man coverage. Folk takes the snap, throws the screen. That's going to be to Jet Harrison. Hardy trying to block O'Brien. He does, but not before a swarm of blue gets to Harrison. That's going to be a gain of about 3.
And Gavin, the Prep is playing good this game so far, 7-0 obviously on the score. But I don't think Charlie Folk has thrown a forward pass yet in this game. It's been screen passes and runs and a scramble for him.
And an 80-yard kick return.
An 80-yard kick return. Yeah. So I'd really like to see Charlie Folk get a couple real passes off, especially on a 3rd and 5.
Folk drops back off the edge. Screaming off the edge is Justin Hawkins like a force. 5'7", 155, but boy is he mighty.
I don't think Folk ever saw him coming. He was staying calm in the pocket, and Hawkins just came off the edge, unblocked, and absolutely blasted Charlie Folk for a loss of 7.
Really quick feed off the edge there, just hitting Charlie Folk from his blind side.
I'm really shocked, Gavin, that Charlie held on to that ball because that was a really hard hit, and Hawkins was going for the ball. So almost a great job by Charlie to just hold on to that.
4th and 12 brings out Leo Ricci. Ricci's punt's going to hit the wind, it looks like, and going to fall short at about the 40-yard line. So LaSalle's going to get the ball now in prep territory, and that's a little bit uncharacteristic of Leo. I mean, Leo so far is averaging 40-plus yards on all of his punts. That one a little bit shorter than what we're used to.
Yeah, Gavin, I think the punt got a little bit tipped there because if you saw the way that it was spinning was also really, really wobbly and lopsided, which is also uncharacteristic for Leo Ritchie, and the line was closing in. So I believe that one might have got tipped.
Yeah, Leo Ritchie, 20 punts this season for a combined 789 yards. So taking the handoff now is Azir Nelson. Nelson trying to get the stiff arm down. Won't work that time. 2nd and long.
Yeah, Brandon Lockley has been a huge bright side for the Prep this season, and it's really started at the very beginning in St. Ed's. Was really the only benefit, the only positive side to that game was Brandon Lockley coming into his own, and he's done it all year. Had an interception against LaSalle last game. That could have been a game winner if that field goal was taken at the end of the game, but was definitely a big threat for the Prep in that game.
Prep defense, of course, still without star defensive lineman Maxwell Roy, committed to Ohio State. He's still injured, as he has been all season. So definitely has been an issue for the Prep and will continue to be an issue for the Prep, especially when you play great teams like LaSalle. Flag on the play. It's going to be false start on LaSalle. That's going to back them up to the Prep's 44, 2nd and 14 pending. But like I was saying, I mean, Maxwell Roy, state champion wrestler, kind of does it all, got injured last wrestling season. That's why he's out for the majority of this season. Still, of course, has that commitment to Ohio State, but just a big loss for the Prep defense overall. However, they have been able to adapt and play well in big games. Sidwar over the middle. That's a John Patrick Oates. Threading the needle is Gavin Sidwar. Ryan McDonald and Brandon Lockley on that coverage, and JP Oates was able to come down with that one. 3rd and short.
Yeah, and Gavin, Cam Smith came in on the tackle too, so very rarely will you see 3 people guarding a receiver, and none of them are DBs. 2 safeties and a linebacker. So I wonder what went up with that matchup, because that's definitely an interesting matchup. 2 safeties and a linebacker on a wide receiver.
Yeah, JP Oates was a really big factor last game against St. Joe's Prep. I mean, 8 receptions, 39 yards. He already has 2 today, and they're pretty big chunks of yardage so far. 43 receptions, 500 yards on the season for Oates. So a really key tight end for the Explorers. Of course, has an offer to play Division I football at Howard.
Yeah, just the entire receiving corps for LaSalle has been really outstanding this year. Sidwar has a lot of options, and the Prep will have a really difficult time covering them. But Samaj Hill and Messiah Acre have been good all season. I think they're up to the task as they were last game. For most of the regular time, they didn't let up a whole lot to those 2 guys, Oates and O'Brien, until overtime, really.
Second quarter here from Wissahickon High School. Sidwar and the Explorers are going to line up on the Prep's 31. 3rd and 1, if not inches, from where they stand. Jamel Williams, the D lineman, checks in for LaSalle. He's going to be in the backfield accompanied by Azir Nelson and Gavin Sidwar in the I formation. They've ran this play before. Kind of have like a extra blocker.
Almost like the Prep uses Saka on those goal line plays.
Sidwar takes the handoff, gives it to Nelson. Nelson finds the outside, close to the marker, and I believe he got there. 1st down, LaSalle.
Yeah, the Prep almost did a great job of stuffing that run and forcing a 4th down, but just Nelson a little bit too fast, got to the outside a little bit too quick, and the Prep edge just couldn't handle it.
1st and 10. Nelson and Williams both check out for the Explorers. Here comes Gavin Sidwar back to the huddle with the play. Ortiz in the backfield. Oates and Dolan to Sidwar's right. He's going to go to his left. That's Joey O'Brien. O'Brien tries to go up for the one-handed snag. I'm not too sure who was covering him on that play. It was Messiah Acree. That one's going to fall incomplete. O'Brien kind of looking for pass interference.
Yeah, and we saw that last game against LaSalle, Gavin. It was a huge theme. A lot of Prep fans went home upset. Messiah Acree had multiple pass interference calls, and not all of them were 100% warranted. So that's going to be a huge theme in this game, a continuation of the calls from last game.
Ortiz in motion. Sidwar drops back, surveys, fires. Incomplete. Dolan, the intended receiver. Saka almost coming away with the interception on that one. Anthony Saka, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know him, where have you been? I mean, one of the top players in his class, going to Notre Dame next year, 4-star recruit, 47 total tackles on the season, 27 of those solo, 3.5 sacks, 9 tackles for losses, and a forced fumble. I mean, just a very patient player who's great at improvising and switching on coverage. Everything you want in a linebacker is Anthony Saka.
Yeah, Gavin, you know how I said the Prep defense doesn't make a whole lot of solo tackles? Well, Anthony Saka's the one exception.
Saka off the edge, looking to sack Sidwar. His pass gets away to Joey O'Brien, and Ryan McDonald's not able to chase him down into the far right corner of the end zone for 6 is number 6.
Yeah, Gavin, I thought Colabardino came away with that one. The ball kind of went into a hole of 3 people, and I didn't see it come back out, so I thought Colabardino had it, and then I just saw O'Brien running down the sideline.
Yeah, I mean, we both were kind of talking about Anthony Saka there. Saka comes off the edge trying to sack Sidwar, gets there almost in due timing, and then kind of just out of nowhere that ball finds its way into Joey O'Brien's hands, and he trots his way into the end zone untouched.
Yeah, that's
Christopher Heck, point after is good. 7-7 now is your score, all tied up here in the District 12 semifinal.
Yeah, and I know Joey O'Brien is the best player really in Pennsylvania, easily the best in the PCL. But the one thing you can't do is let him have easy touchdowns. He's going to torch you anyway. He's going to have the yards. He's going to have the receptions and the touchdowns. But you can't make it easy for him. And on that play, it was a little bit easy for him, untouched for the last 30 yards.
Yeah, I mean, Joey O'Brien is kind of one of those players where it's like he's going to get his, but you can't let him get more than
extra.
that.
Like, you're never going to stop him, just like how basketball was last year with Jaleel Bethea. He was going to get 30, but you had to stop him from getting 40. You couldn't give him any extra. That's how Joey O'Brien is this year.
Exactly. I mean, last game, 9 receptions for 118 yards, and he had 2 touchdowns against the Hawks. So you know it's coming. It's just how much can you limit that? Heck's kick is away, fielded by Jameer Rowe. Rowe making his way out towards the 30, and he is hit hard by Dylan Clare and Colton McLear.
A little bit of extracurriculars there at the end of the play. The LaSalle
Flag
coaches
on
are
the
not
play.
happy about it.
Not too sure what happened there as I looked down.
I was Lucas Johnson, the junior DB,
For LaSalle.
who had a little bit of extracurricular activity at the end of that play, making the refs unhappy.
It's going to be against LaSalle. That's going to take the football up from the 28. To the 41. It's awkward. And probably the ball wasn't out on the 28. Ball was on the
I think closer to 26.
26. 15-yard penalty. Good math.
Yeah, the LaSalle fans are not loving it. I can't disagree with the call. There was a lot of extracurricular activities, and I didn't really see who was at the heart of it, but when Lucas Johnson came back to the sideline, his coaches were not happy with him.
Folk drops back, looking to go for it all. Ramir Hardy, jump ball! Hardy comes down with it! Into the end zone is Ramir Hardy! Touchdown, St. Joe's Prep!
Yeah, and Gavin Hardy had the separation. He had a few steps. He had a few yards. A better thrown ball would have made a perfect touchdown, and Ramir still able to make the adjustment, still able to get away from the tackle. Nice throw there by Charlie Folk. Great catch and run there by Ramir Hardy. One play drive for the Prep, and it doesn't get much prettier than that.
I mean, Ramir Hardy, 6'2". Justin Hawkins, the defensive back, guarding him 5'7". So a 7-inch height advantage there for Ramir Hardy, and it definitely played out in his favor on that one. Ricci's kick is up and good. 40 for 40 PATs on the year. But just go back to that play. I mean, it was a decent ball there by Charlie Folk, but Hardy was able to turn around, adapt, come down with it, and still break away for 6.
Yeah, like I was saying, Charlie Folk slightly underthrown, but you can't ask for much more. It was a well-thrown ball, and Ramir Hardy able to really push through contact.
I think even Hawkins pushed off a little bit too.
Well, I saw both of them. I think Hardy pushed a little bit, Hawkins pushed a little bit. I like the no call there. If they're both pushing, just let them play.
Yeah, I agree. Makes sense.
Great play there by Hardy, really just to get away with it. And the most impressive part was the fact that he was able to stay on his feet and accelerate towards the end zone. Great awareness on where you are on the field. Great awareness to, kind of turn around while you're running full speed.
Yeah.
And make it all the way to the end zone.
I mean, it's been those quick, big gain plays for the Prep so far this game. It was the Messiah Acree kick return, and then Charlie Folk to Ramir Hardy. That time, 14-7 now in favor of your Hawks. Ricci set to kick this one away. It's going to sail towards the direction of Lucas Johnson and into the back of the end zone for a touchback. After the fact, Nick Neary got trucked on the near sideline. Couple complaints here on the LaSalle sideline. No call there. So a lot of extracurricular activity, shoving, pushing after the play. But, I mean, Sean, that's what a rivalry is really all about.
Yeah, you see it in all the great rivalries. Yankees, Red Sox, Eagles, Dallas, Penn State, Ohio State. You see it in all those types of games. And it's the same here. Just two teams who really, really dislike each other playing in a really, really high-stakes matchup.
Win or go home.
I mean, the seniors, this is, the last time, half of these seniors, it's the last time they'll put on these jerseys.
Handoff fake by Sidwar over the top to John Patrick Oates. He finds space and makes his way out towards the 50-yard line. Have yourself a day, JP Oates.
Yeah, and Gavin, that's a lot of what we saw earlier in the game of DBs not guarding wide receivers. Oates was guarded by Anthony Sacca, and I know Anthony Sacca is a great player, but Oates is quicker, Oates is faster, and Sacca just got burnt there.
Sidwar looking to speed it up, throws the screen, this time intended for James Dolan. Dolan gets just past the line of scrimmage.
And great play recognition. Great play recognition from the sophomore edge, Jay Nitz there. I mean, he got out to the sideline before anybody else did from the defensive line. So great heads-up play there from Nitz to hold him to a gain of 1 or 2.
Sidwar's got 4 receivers out there, 3 to his left, 1 to his right. Takes the snaps, looking left, firing. Dolan tries to make a move and turn up field. Samaj Hill and Brandon Lockley bring him down.
Yeah, that's really the first time we've seen him go to that side of the field. Samaj Hill and Brandon Lockley are on that right side of the field, and that's the first time we've seen him do it all game, really. It's been crossers from the left to the right, trying to get people out to the sidelines over the middle of the field, not really targeting that particular sideline. And now you know why. Samaj Hill and Brandon Lockley make a nice tackle there, force 3rd down.
3rd and 3. Sidwar looking to start the action. Drops back, pressured. Cam Smith up the middle and brings him down for the sack.
Huge sack by Cam Smith there. Brings him down hard. Loss of more than 7 or 8. I think that'll be about 10 yards. Cam Smith just came down, and he wasn't off the edge. He wasn't lined up with the defensive line. He came in out of zone coverage, just came through the gap and absolutely lit up Sidwar. Huge play there by Cam Smith.
6 sacks now on the year for the senior linebacker. Transferred last year from Salem High School in New Jersey and has just been a powerhouse ever since. I mean, committed to Duke originally, flipped that to Penn State. He's going to go up to State College and play 4 years there next season. Sidwar with the fake punt again. This one going to roll inside the 10-yard line.
And Gavin, this is where some of the blame has to go on Coach Rogan. Last time it was 4th and 9 and they ran it. This time it was 4th and 15 and they ran it.
Yeah.
And no one was back there to return. You have to assume that they're not going to go for it on 4th and 15, and they're going to do exactly what they did last play.
Yeah.
And now you're going to start inside your 10.
Or at least drop like a really far back safety.
Yeah, maybe put Turner back there. Maybe, Messiah Ackery's been great on the punt return this year.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem putting Messiah Ackery back there at all. Even Ryan McDonald or Jameer Rowe, someone like that. Not
maybe
Jameer
even
Rowe.
Lockley. But put somewhere back there.
Because now the Prep's starting inside the LaSalle 10, more like inside their own 10, more like at their
4-yard line. They're inside the 5.
Excuse me, yeah, inside the 5.
Yeah, that's
because the penalty after the kick.
Yeah, this is just, like we said, Gavin, with Joey O'Brien, and now it's really with the whole team. Like, they're going to take what they're going to take, and you're not going to stop them, but you have to limit that.
Folk with both feet in the end zone hands this one off to Billups. Billups tries to find a hole on that right edge. Won't get there. Runs into Christian Leonard.
Yeah, Kai Billups really has been decent through this game up the middle, which isn't his strong suit. But like I said, I'd really like to see him get to the outside and break one off because we know he can do it. He has done it, and he will continue to do it.
Folk fakes the handoff, throws a quick out route to Ramir Hardy. Hardy hit hard as soon as he catches that one. And he's down. That one, of course, falling incomplete. 3rd down pending, but Ramir Hardy now suffering on the field. Still has not gotten up as the trainers rush to him. But really just nothing Ramir Hardy could have done there. Trying to go make a play. Get hit really hard from that blind side like Charlie Folk did earlier in today's game.
Yeah, and Ramir has that burdening shoulder injury that he's been working through all season, and that's the side he got hit on, so that's not what you like to see. Ramir getting hurt in this game, probably looking right now like it's a relatively serious injury. Has not gotten up yet.
He's sitting up, and now he's been helped up, and he looks to walk off the field on his own weight. Maybe just got the wind knocked out of him.
I was going to say,
like
yeah,
that.
maybe it was just a bell rung. I mean, that was a hard hit, and a blind side is always scary. Maybe just got his bell rung, wind knocked out of him a little bit. That would be the best case scenario for the Hawks, I think. That was a little bit of a late throw there by Charlie Folk. Kind of tipped where he was going to with his whole body beforehand. But I do like the call from Coach Rogan, a little out route, get a couple yards, get your guys out of the end zone.
3rd and 10 from the Prep's own 5. Folk hands it off to Billups. Billups up the middle. Fights to an ankle tackle, fights to another ankle tackle, and he turns upfield for the 1st down. Kyan Billups, electric.
And Gavin, this is what I keep saying. When Kyan gets to the outside, he's an entirely different back. When he's up the middle, he's a small back. He's a decent running back, but he's nothing special. When he gets to the outside, it's game over. He's fast. He's agile. He can break the tackles as long as they're not shoulder to shoulder. He's a huge threat when he gets to the sideline, and he did it there.
All 3 receivers lined up to Folk's right. Harrison, Hardy, and Turner. Novotny also in at tight end. And, of course, none other than Kyan Billups and Charlie Folk in the backfield. Fakes the handoff to Billups. Tries to look towards Elijah Turner's way. That one's going to be tipped. And Ramir Hardy said he caught it off the tip. The ref's going to signal incomplete that it hit the turf beforehand.
Yeah, I think
it was
that
pretty close.
I think that might be some acting there by Ramir Hardy. Although really the good part is now we know he's back in the game.
It's true.
So Charlie, I'm not sure what he saw there because he threw to Elijah Turner.
He was pretty heavily covered.
Who was heavily covered, and then you saw Ramir Hardy was wide open 3 yards further downfield. So I'm not sure why the decision to throw to Turner instead of Hardy there.
Always want to know when we go live. To get updates on new shows, broadcasts, and everything WSJP, follow our Instagram page at SJP Broadcasting for all the latest WSJP news. Billups up the gut again. He goes nowhere. Excuse me, Will Vokalos. Now 3rd and short for the Hawks. Will getting his first carry of the afternoon.
Yeah, and Will Vokalos, running back 5 or 6 in the depth chart last year, has really stepped up this year, especially in the absence of Isaiah West. Couple touchdowns on the season. Great running threat up the middle. Played great against Cardinal O'Hara in the Prep's first full game without Isaiah West.
Folk waiting on the play. 3rd and long. Just under 8 minutes left to play here in this first half. Folk in the pocket, running out of time, is going to throw it. Jet Harrison, near sideline, caught. Jet Harrison reels it in.
Yeah, that was a great play there by Charlie Folk. Spin out, throw across the body. And a great block by Kion Billups. Came off the edge was number 30 for LaSalle, John Layuth. But he got picked up by Kion Billups pretty easily. Kion able to extend the play for his quarterback. And then Charlie makes a great throw to Jet Harrison across the middle of the field.
Nice job there by Charlie Folk, keeping his composure under pressure in the backfield. Billups, right up the middle, hurdles, jumps, and looks to be flipped over almost for a gain of only about 2 on that play. That was kind of weird out of Kion Billups, but we now have a prep player kneeling on the ground. That's going to be Khalil Stewart. Slow to get up, but gets up in a manageable amount of time. No trainers needed out on the field.
Maybe just a little bit banged up at the end of that play. When those piles get bigger and bigger, that's when you always fear for lineman injuries.
Stewart, I know we talked about him earlier, but just been a great addition from Roman Catholic for the Hawks. Transferred in last year and really has added a great element to this prep O-line. Hardy on the slant, breaks a tackle. Running, breaks another tackle. Ramir Hardy, 2 tackles broken. Joey O'Brien finally comes out of nowhere and brings him down at around the LaSalle 30. But, I mean, he broke the first one and then shedded Christopher Filippo off like he was practically nothing.
Yeah, Ramir Hardy having a great night, proving that he's not a bust, proving that he earned that Temple offer, that Temple commitment. First real huge game of the season. Great play there from Ramir Hardy. One of many tonight so far.
Ramir, of course, also a 2-sport athlete, played basketball for a little bit last year. Not really, but got into 1 or 2 games. Folk drops back, pressured. He's not going to go anywhere. Bringing him down in the backfield is Hayden McDonald for the sack.
Yeah, Folk just trying to step up through the pocket. McDonald closed that gap, and Folk had nowhere left to go. Just had to eat that one.
And it's almost good to see Charlie Folk eat a sack for once, because we saw in that first Prep LaSalle game 2 times he was scrambling, tried to throw it away, and both times it was interceptions. So seeing him kind of sit there and take a sack, I mean, obviously, of course, it's not what you want, but it shows that he's not going to be antsy in the backfield and try to get the ball away.
It shows that he's not afraid. I mean, he's really kind of grown this season. It shows that he's not afraid to take those hits and that he knows it's better than throwing it to the other team.
Billups finds a hole running up the field. Finally brought down by Edward Sutter in the secondary. But Kion Billups getting the Hawks back to the line of scrimmage and then some, 3rd and 7.
Great run there by Kion Billups. Just accelerates up the middle.
And, I mean, a great job also by the Prep O-line. I mean, Billups, I mean, a couple times he's ran into a pile. He's ran into a brick wall. But a lot of times he's been able to find some pretty big holes like on that play. And like we said, he's best in open space, and he's shown that here. Harrison in motion. Folk looking. Throws it behind Elijah Turner. That one's going to fall incomplete. Dylan Clare on the coverage.
Yeah, and Gavin, that's one Charlie Folk's going to kick himself about tonight. He had Elijah Turner, and Elijah Turner, the track star, has the speed if he can make that catch to get up the sideline for a first down and probably a lot more. Charlie Folk just unable to make that throw.
Yeah. Turner also had a lot of space.
Did have a lot
on that far sideline to get to that first down marker. But 4th and 7 now for the Hawks, and Charlie Folk and the offense are still out there, 5 wide for St. Joe's Prep. Still no sighting of Leo Ritchie.
And Gavin, I wonder if this might be a tad out of range. 47 yards is definitely pushing it for the senior kicker.
Yeah, 42 is his long on the season for the senior kicker. Timeout on LaSalle. Prep. Excuse me.
I really do believe that Leo Ritchie could hit this field goal, but I do understand Coach Rokin's hesitation. 47-yarders is really pushing the range of Ritchie and really any high school kicker, and you're just a little bit too close to punt.
Yeah.
You risk a touchback, so I guess this is 4-down territory. You just would have liked to get a little bit closer than 7.
I think Leo's got it. I don't think Coach Roken will go with him, but I think Leo, from 47 yards, could nail the field goal if he needs to.
Yeah,
I mean, like I said, 42 is his long, and in practice, multiple times I've heard of accounts where he's hit 50 plus. A lot of wind here too today, though.
The only problem in high school is everything has to go right. It has to be a perfect snap, a perfect hold, and then a perfect kick, and you can't let anybody come in to block it. That's a lot of moving pieces, even for a top-tier high school football team.
Yeah, true. But, I mean, what happened last time when they didn't kick the field goal against LaSalle? Of course, that was a little bit shorter.
You never like to leave points on the board.
Folk takes the snap, throws to Elijah Turner. He wasn't looking. Joey O'Brien read that one like a book. First interception of the day for LaSalle and for O'Brien.
Yeah, Gavin, I wonder what the miscommunication there was. I never like to see Elijah Turner on a curl route. That's not his strength. But he did have the separation. He ran it well. I don't know if he maybe just turned too late or Charlie maybe thought he was running a separate route than that, but that was not a pretty-looking play there from the prep. Almost like a mini arm punt there.
Almost looked like he was having a catch with Joey O'Brien. Literally ran right into his hands. But
I'm shocked they called him down because no one touched him when he caught that ball.
True.
I'm really shocked by that.
14-7, Sidwar looking to make something happen before halftime. Haskell up the middle. Sidwar has to get it away. He throws towards J.P. Oates. Oates drops the ball, then catches it off the bounce off the turf. Of course, that's still incomplete, but don't see that every day.
Saka great in coverage like we've seen all year. He's just patient, read that route like a book. Great defense there. And let's not forget about Alex Haskell making his presence really known for the first time in this game, coming up the middle, just almost intimidation factor on Sidwar there, coming up the middle like a bull.
Ortiz to Sidwar's right. Sidwar looks to get something happening. Throws it. Far sideline. That's going to be caught by Nick Swanson. And boy, was he rocked by Anthony Saka at the end of that play.
Anthony Saka sometimes forgets that this isn't wrestling. He really likes to pick people up and throw them to the ground. Almost never gets called for it. It's really electrifying for the sideline and the crowd. And there was Alex Haskell again, by the way, coming up the middle, putting a hand in Sidwar's face, affecting the play, kind of eliminating the middle of the field.
It's going to be a penalty on St. Joe's Prep. Of course, on Anthony Saka.
I think I might have jinxed it, Gavin.
He looked like he was John Cena out there. Literally picked him up, flipped him, and slammed him to the turf. Yeah, has heard if you're Nick Swanson.
It's definitely not legal either. It's literally a suplex.
15-yard penalty. So LaSalle will get a nice boost up to their own 36. 1st and 10.
You almost wish Saka would have just taken the calm tackle there. Forced the third down.
Sidwar looking near sideline for Dolan. That one's going to be off the head of Samaj Hill. Flag on the play. They're going to call pass interference on that one. And I might have to agree with that. I mean, Samaj Hill never turned his head.
That's
ever.
The problem. There wasn't a lot of contact. Samaj Hill had his hands straight up in the air. But we've seen it all year with these prep defensive backs. They just don't know when to turn their head. Samaj, I mean, the ball literally hit him in the head. He just never turned. And that's a huge killer. As a DB, you have to read the wide receiver's eyes, and you have to know when to turn your head. That's a huge penalty on the prep.
So another penalty moves him up to the 51. And so 2 penalties on the Hawks
and Gavin,
have gifted LaSalle with 30 yards.
And not only if he turned, it wouldn't have been a pass interference, but that was a low throw. He might have had an interception.
He could have had an interception
if he
for
turned in time. So that play turned from potentially all of it to none of it really quickly.
Sidwar fakes the throw, going back towards Dolan and Samaj Hill. This time it's going to be caught by Dolan, but he's not going to get a foot in. That one's going to be out of bounds.
Yeah, Gavin, there it is again. That one time was zone coverage, so a little bit more understandable. But Samaj Hill just late turning his head. The ball, it was a better thrown pass than last time, but if he had turned in time, he still would have been able to bat that one away. Very near completion there. Would have really been a plague all season.
Definitely, Sean. I mean, it's something you got to kind of fix quick now. It's already happened nearly 2 times. Flag on the play right after Sidwar's snap. This play is going to be dead. False start on the Explorers. So 2nd and 10 turns into 2nd and 15.
Yeah, Gavin, I think it was Nick Swanson in motion there, a little bit illegally, you could say. That's a huge penalty on LaSalle. Turns 2nd and 10 to 2nd and 15. It's a much different game.
Prep defense out there with the normal personnel. I mean, you got Saka, Smith, Lockley at linebacker, Messiah Acree, and Samaj Hill at the cornerback position. And then, of course, in the secondary, Ryan McDonald and Roman Calabardino, the senior safety duo. Sidwar throwing. This time it's going to be caught over the middle and brought down just before the first down marker is James Dolan. Dolan really having a great game so far, and it's kind of been those secondary receivers for LaSalle. I mean, I wouldn't say JP Oates, maybe JP Oates, but it hasn't been Joey O'Brien or Julian McFadden.
Yeah, and Gavin, what I'd like to see from Samaj Hill there, that's a tough route to guard, a quick in route. Very well run by Dolan, but Samaj did do a great job trying to get the ball out at the end of the play. Knew he was burnt, knew he had made the catch, knew he had to do something to make up for it, so he was trying to punch the ball out. That's the aggression you like to see, but you just can't let up those big plays on simple routes.
Sidwar looking towards Joey O'Brien's sideline and says he's going to scramble away to the right. Throwing, that one is caught over the middle by Simmons. Simmons going to be wrapped down by Anthony Saka, but not after obtaining the first down on that play.
Yeah, and a great tackle by Saka, but an even better decision by Sidwar. He had a lot of room to run, and he would have picked up the first down for sure, but he knew the throw was going to get him a couple more yards, and it did. Great decision there.
Holding on the play, it's going to move LaSalle back, so forget about everything we said, ladies and gentlemen.
And usually when a quarterback will scramble out towards either side, out of the pocket, that's when you get a lot of those holding calls, because guys like Haskell and Nitz are really try to get to the outside, and it's really hard to block that without holding.
It's been one weird set of downs for LaSalle. I mean, they got up to as close as the Hawks 41, and now they're back at their own 48. So,
and also, don't forget, one more foot would have given Dolan a 40-yard reception at the 20.
5 wide for Sidwar. Timeout, St. Joe's Prep. A little bit of uncharted territory this season for the Hawks. I mean, last season, 13-1, 5-0 in conference. This season, story's been a little bit different. I mean, they're only 6-2 right now, 4-1 in the PCL. That PCL loss, of course, coming to LaSalle. The other one coming to St. Edwards from Ohio. They won the state championship last year against North Allegheny, 8 in the past 10 years. Do you think they can repeat it again, Sean? What do you think?
I think if you get past LaSalle, you're going to get to the state championship. LaSalle is right now almost the undisputed number one team.
They are the number one team in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's not really even close. But if the Prep can get past them today, like they've done so many times in the past, then I think they have, I don't want to say an easy road, but a much more manageable road to the state championship. The only team standing in their way is the Explorers today.
Definitely. I mean, it's a lot different this season, of course. Losing your whole wide receiving core, losing one of your starting running backs, losing your 4-star quarterback. Kind of had to rebuild
all
this
of your
year.
defensive backs.
Sidwar looking, Dolan trying to go up top. Great coverage there by Samaj Hill. It's going to be tipped. No pass interference on that one. 4th and long for the Explorers.
And like we've said all day, Gavin, the reason that wasn't pass interference because there was a lot more contact than there had been in the past.
Turned his head.
But he turned his head. He made a play for the ball. So that negates the contact. Great play there by Samaj Hill. Tip that ball up, get it away from Dolan.
Yeah, Dolan's kind of been Gavin Sidwar's favorite target these past couple plays.
And number 2 has been Oates. So really O'Brien, other than that first drive or two where he got the touchdown and the couple reception, has really been.
And that touchdown wasn't even a planned play for Joe. I mean, it was like a play that's kind of fallen apart. Joey O'Brien was open over the middle, and that's how he got that touchdown. But not too many targets so far for Joey O'Brien.
Great job from the Preps secondary to really hold
Sidwar faking the punt. That one's going to get away. Messiah Acres going to let it trickle inside the 20 to around the 17. Fans are complaining for a penalty.
They want the punter.
They want roughing the punter on Colin Anderson.
But they're not going to get it because Sidwar's quarterback. It wasn't really a designed punt play. I think that's
I don't think that is it. I think it was Sidwar barely got the punt away, and then Colin Anderson kind of just had his momentum going that way. That's what the ref looked to be explaining to Coach Gordon on the LaSalle sideline.
But let's also talk about the fact that the Prep still really can't find an answer to this little fake punt here.
Yeah.
That's the third time today they've been in or near the inside or near the 10-yard line.
It's also hard because Sidwar doesn't pump the ball that far. It hits the ground, and then it kind of takes off from there.
So you can't return it.
Yeah.
I mean, if Messiah had picked up that ball, he would have gotten absolutely rocked.
Folk on the screen to Harrison. Harrison tackled quickly by Joey O'Brien at the line of scrimmage. Gain of 0 on the play.
Yeah, and I think especially in this situation, you're running a 2-minute drill. You have 90 yards to go. I think you have to let Charlie Folk do his thing. You have to let him air it out. And really, you just have to not even air it out. You have to let him throw it forward. You can't run. You can't throw these screen passes. You have to let him. The throw has to gain you yards. You can't just rely on the yards after catch.
Hardy, Rowe, and Turner, 2 folks left. No one to his right, except for Rod Novotny at the tight end position. Not sure what's going to happen here with him. Billups in the backfield. Hands it off. Kyan Billups goes to the right side, tries to find a Hulk. He doesn't. Lee Youth on the tackle, as well as Christopher Filippo.
Yeah, and Gavin, that was a great run from Kyan Billups, and he's, again, continuing to show us why he's so much better in open space. But, again, it's a 2-minute drill. You have to throw. I mean, that 2 minutes has quickly become 1 minute, and you've gained 8 yards.
Not even 3rd and 3 for the Hawks. But you're right, Sean. I mean, under 1 minute now. Is the Prep even trying to score?
I mean, they might just be trying to keep it out of LaSalle's hands.
And I think that's what they're going to do as they hand this one off once again to Billups. Billups does get the first down, so the chains will move.
And one thing we haven't seen this year, Gavin, that we saw an awful lot last year, obviously the 4-headed monster in the running back position last year with all those seniors, but Eric Sanchez was huge for getting those chunk plays. Every carry he got, he seemed to get 15, 20 yards, and that's something that West and Billups aren't great at doing is the chunk plays. They get more positive yard runs. They get more consistent runs, but they can't get the chunk plays quite like that running back room for the Prep could last year.
Yeah, Sean, and I mean, right here, right now, that's kind of just what you need. You need positive yardage, trying to keep the ball, like you said, out of LaSalle's hands before going into halftime.
Because LaSalle does get the ball first.
They do receive in the second half. Folk drops back, looking, has time, trips on his own feet in the backfield. Flag's going to be thrown on the play. It might be roughing the passer.
Gavin, what I really don't like about that call there is you're going to waste 1 minute and 30 seconds just barely getting that first down with run plays, and then now that you only have 30 seconds left, you're going to throw it deep. I really disagree with that call there. But what you do like to see is after the play, Charlie's offensive lineman kind of coming to his protection, standing up for him, keeping the LaSalle defenders away from him.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, I don't know if I disagree with the play call, more or less than I disagree with the decision overall of not trying to throw the football. Because, I mean, trying to throw the ball, I mean, I know it's a little too late, but I don't technically disagree. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, this is definitely a situation where you're going to want to throw deep, but a 2-minute drill.
It just started too late. It started too late.
A 2-minute drill is a lot more manageable than a 2-minute 90-yard is a lot easier than a 30-second 80 yards.
Yeah, exactly. It is going to be a penalty on LaSalle, and my guess is it is roughing the passer because Charlie Folk did fall down and then was kind of trampled by a bunch of defenders. But regardless, the clock will tick out here at Wissahickon High School, and that'll do it for the first half here of the District 12 PIAA semifinal. Your score 14-7 in favor of your St. Joe's Prep Hawks. Make sure to stay tuned for Hawk Talk at a half right after this first half, right after this break.
With John Claffey and Alex Arespi. will be on the mic in just 1 second. Make sure you stay tuned for that.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Hawk Talk at the Half. My name is John Claffey, and I am here with my co-statistician, Alex Arespi. Alex, how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. You know, the Prep is winning right now, 14-7, so hopefully that stays the same right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a great game so far, a very competitive game. A lot of big plays by both teams, a lot of good tackles, great secondary play. I mean, everything you want in a good game.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, competitive, you know, if you haven't seen, like, a lot of trash talking and a lot of cheap shots, but, you know, that's what happens when you're in a rivalry game.
True, and especially when it's a game that's just so close and the teams are just going, there's iron sharpens iron, and it's just a great game. How do you think LaSalle's been doing this first half?
I mean, LaSalle has some key players. So one we all know is Joey O'Brien. I mean, he is a problem. I mean, with him having 40 yards on 2 catches, which is not too bad, but like at the same time, you know, he's a contributor on defense, the main guy on defense, locking up Jet Harrison, and I mean, he has been the main guy for this LaSalle team all year. And with him and Sidlar's connection, they have been unbelievable all year.
Yeah, I mean, he's also been, it looked like he'd been returning some punts too. And Sidlar's been the punter for the team. I would say that the Prep's been playing extremely well. I'd like to shout out the secondary. The secondary has been doing a fantastic job at tipping passes, just putting their hands up, letting the ball bump off. They've just been absolute lockdown and a no-fly zone so far in this first half. And I would tend to agree with you. Joey O'Brien's just been, he's been doing a great job locking down Jet all day. Jet, he's been having an okay game. He's been struggling to get open a little bit. He has 1 catch for 15 yards, which, I mean, saying that isn't a lot for a player is kind of crazy because, I mean, 15 yards, it's a good amount, but for Jet, it's kind of a little understatement. Charlie Folk, 5 pass attempts, 3 completions, 89 yards, 1 carry for 5 yards, as we saw early in the first quarter after Messiah Akery's amazing return to the 20, and Charlie just would not go down. I mean, he took a couple hits and just kept pushing along.
I mean, Akery doing that first play of the game set the tone of, like, you know, we're here. I mean, after that brutal loss for against them earlier in the year, I mean, just set the tone right there that, you know, we are here, and, you know, just getting the crowd silent over here.
Yeah, as we're sitting over on the LaSalle side, we get to hear all of what's going through their heads, and it's interesting to see a different point of view. And I mean, obviously, as you said, the last game, not the outcome Prep fans all over the world wanted, but just sometimes you got to have games like that to just really bring the will that you can come firing back like the Prep surely has done today. Alex, what do you think is a key point of offense that LaSalle can use to turn this game around?
I mean, they need to run the ball. You know, they need to establish their run game. They only ran 3 times, and they need to get Desmond Ortiz in the game. I mean, and Desmond Ortiz and Jonathan Simmons. I mean, only running 3 times and getting 3 yards is not acceptable to win these games. I mean, if you look at the Prep, I mean, they ran 12 times for 39 yards. Like, you gotta show that your O-line is just way better, and like can get couple yards on first down.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing, but I think the Prep has just done a really great job at running the ball. They're not, you know, getting these huge running plays. Obviously, Kai Billups will like burst out for like a 15-yard run here and there, but usually this game it's just been little jibs and jabs of like 2 yards, 5 yards. Not huge runs, but definitely being super effective, running down the clock, really quick first half, and they've just been doing a great job. Kai has had 12 carries for 39 yards and 1 rushing touchdown. He had the 1-yard rushing touchdown very much earlier in the game, and he's just been doing a great job overall. Charlie Folk also had the run for 5 yards earlier in the game. Now, Alex, what do you think's been going wrong for LaSalle offensively this game?
I mean, offensively, they've thrown a lot, and even though Sidwar completed 10 throws, I mean, they're just not like they're all going deep. I mean, just keep the short passes, get like 5 yards on a first down if you're gonna throw. I mean, it's not you're gonna go deep and then just like go for 3 and out every time. I mean, you gotta establish the short game as well as the run game, like I said. And you know, if they keep doing that will lead to the deep balls that, you know, they're trying to do right now.
I'd say so. The Prep secondary has just been locked down, so why they keep going for all these long plays just keeps baffling me, because obviously it's just not going to work. You have Roman Colberdino up there. He's having himself a game, ladies and gentlemen. He just complete lockdown. He has 2 tackles and he has 3 tip passes. Anthony Sacca additionally has 3 tackles and a tip pass. Cam Smith has 2 tackles and a sack. Lockley has 2 tackles, and Ryan McDonald has a tackle. Another player that's key for the Prep defensively, and he's really stepped up his game today, is Samaj Hill. He has a tackle and a tip pass as well, which was really crucial, and he really just does a great job of forcing his defenders out of bounds and just kind of sticking his arm up so they can't really get a clear sight of the ball, so they don't really know where it's going, and they just kind of have to stick their hands up and eventually just see if they can come down with it, which LaSalle's done a pretty good job of. Obviously, they had that one really great catch that ended up being an out of bounds, but I mean, it was a beautiful pass overall.
I mean, yeah. I mean, James Dolan, that one pass around the 20 yards, I mean, that would have been a key point of the game. I mean, that would have been a momentum changer, which LaSalle really needs. I mean, over here it's silent. I mean, there's no momentum right now. The student section's not even here right now. I mean, there's just a lot of like gasp and like, oh, we need to like be better. And I mean, if they get a touchdown out of the half, I mean, that would be huge for them.
Yeah, I'd say so. Alex, what do you think has been going right for LaSalle on this defensive side of the ball in this first half?
I mean, defensively, I mean, the run game, they've been doing well in the run game. I feel like 12 carries for 39 yards is pretty good for the defense. And also, I feel like defensively, O'Brien and his secondary have been pretty good overall, but I feel like they need to stop the big plays. I mean, you saw Ramir Hardy's big play to get that touchdown to give them the lead, and other big plays that happen. I mean, just need that to stop, and if that happens, I feel like they can make this a competitive game.
Yeah, as you said, Ramir Hardy's big play. I mean, catch for 78 yards and a touchdown. That was, I mean, you could really hear the displeasure of the LaSalle fans over where we're sitting, and it was nothing but joy, and it was crazy over on the prep side. Ramir right now has 2 catches for 85 receiving yards, and as we said, his touchdown. Charlie's done a really good job at he's finding really great looks, and I feel like he's matured over the year where he's getting much more aware of who he thinks will be open, what he think. He's reading the plays a lot better, and he's reading when the LaSalle players are coming in, try and tackle him, and he's getting out of there. He's feeling more comfortable in the pocket, moving around a little more, not being scared and just kind of standing there and then saying, oh, wow, somebody's coming at me, and just kind of standing there and taking it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, him improvising now, we haven't seen that for all year, and now he's doing it in the biggest game. I mean, that is huge for the prep right now. Him improvising right now is a key factor because there's some plays that there's one to Jet Harrison, for example. I mean, him improvising, going to Jet, and just getting that first down was key.
Yeah, I'd say so. I would say, though, the one comment I would have for the prep is they need to limit how many people are getting to Charlie. As I said, the only reason we could have seen today how Charlie has improved on moving around in the pocket and evading the defenders and making those quick last-second reads is because the LaSalle defenders and middle linebackers and edge rushers are getting to him. And they're getting in there, and Charlie's been sacked, I believe, 2 times, which it's not a good look, but he's really improved.
I mean, yeah, I feel like the prep needs to. I mean, LaSalle needs to keep the pressure. Even though the prep needs to stop it, but keep the pressure. I mean, they have 2 sacks, one from Hayden McDonald and one from Joseph Morsi. And I mean, like, if they keep the pressure, they keep getting sacks, they keep making a young quarterback like Charlie Folk just make mistakes. And one time he improvised and got a pick for Joey O'Brien. So I mean, keep the pressure. We said this all year. I mean, if you're the opponent against St. Joe's Prep and you have Charlie Folk under center, you got to put pressure. He's a young quarterback, and he needs his experience.
Yeah, Hayden McDonald, a player, he really was doing a great job over LaSalle in the first half, getting a lot of pressure on Charlie. But now on the prep side, Ryan McDonald, he's kind of a player, he's kind of been MIA this game. He only has 1 tackle, but he's the type of guy that he does so much more, in terms of leadership, and he just, he's been doing a great job this game of corralling all the LaSalle players and getting them so all the other prep players can make the tackle. All right, Alex, as we're running out of time here, what is your prediction for the rest of the game?
I mean, I still have the Prep. My prediction before the game was 24-7. I feel like the Prep defense is gonna improve off of their mistakes this half, and I feel like they're gonna keep the 7, and then Charlie Folk will get a touchdown to, I'm gonna say uh, Elijah Turner, because I feel like he hasn't had a great game, and I feel like, yeah, Elijah Turner. I mean, he hasn't had a great game. He doesn't even have a catch yet, and I feel like if he gets going, you can get him a touchdown.
Yep, I would agree. I think that the Prep is going to win 28-10. I think LaSalle, or 28-17. I'll say LaSalle gets a touchdown and a field goal, but I think the Prep gets 2 more touchdowns. And ladies and gentlemen, as we're wrapping up here, it was a big game. Imhotep won, and so the winner of this game will go on to face Imhotep in the city championship for the chance to go to the state playoffs. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I was John Claffey, and this was Alex Oresby. Have a great day.
Welcome back to Wissahickon High School, where the Hawks of St. Joe's Prep are currently leading the Explorers of LaSalle College High School by a score of 14-7. I'm Gavin Heinerichs, and alongside me, my color analyst, Sean Drosnock, and you are listening to WSJP, the voice of all things St. Joe's Prep, live on YouTube. Sean, a pretty action-packed, action-filled first half there for the District 12 semifinal. Kind of recap that for us.
It started off hot with the Messiah Ackery 80-yard punt return, kickoff return all the way down to the 20. Quick touchdown for the Prep there, I believe, by the hands of Kion Billups. LaSalle answers back with a Joey O'Brien touchdown. Almost a broken play across the middle. Joey O'Brien untouched from the 30 to the end zone. And then a very next drive, Ramir Hardy, one-play touchdown, 60-yard touchdown reception over the head of Justin Hawkins, the undersized defensive back. And that's kind of where the score has left us. It kind of cut off after that. Big defensive game.
Yeah.
After that, huge contributions from the Preps linebackers, Cam Smith and Anthony Sacca especially. And the Preps defensive backs finally starting to realize the concept of turning to defend the pass, cutting down on those pass interferences that we saw so much last time that they faced off against LaSalle.
Richie's kick is away, and this second half is underway. Fielded at the 10 by Dolan. Dolan makes his way out towards the 20-yard line before being wrapped up by a sea of white. And Gavin Sidwar is going to get his first try in this second half. But, yeah, Sean, like you said, I mean, low scoring after that and uncharacteristic for the Explorers. I mean, averaging 37 points on the offensive side of the ball while only letting up 10. The 10 has already been exceeded by your Hawks, who currently have 14, but 37 and 7, huge difference there.
It's a lot of what we saw last game. Last game at halftime it was 0-0. We didn't get our first score until the end of the third quarter. So both teams, it's really just a defensive matchup. Two great defenses going up against each other.
Sidwar hands it off to Nelson. Nelson out to the left side, breaks a tackle, gets a stiff arm, and he's forced out of bounds by Roman Culiberdino, but not after getting the first down and then some for the Explorers.
Yeah, and Gavin, that's exactly how the Explorers started off their first drive of the game with a Desmond Ortiz 12-yard run. So they're just sticking with their strategy, sticking with what they know, and it's worked for them so far this season. Not a loss.
Yeah, Azir Nelson getting a lot of carries for LaSalle, as Ortiz has kind of been used more of a receiving back, which we have seen him at all year. As I say that, Nelson on the carry, stiff arms Jay Nitz into the ground, and he's out to the outside once again. Anthony Sacca on the tackle just past the LaSalle 40-yard line, but two back-to-back great runs by Azir Nelson, really utilizing the stiff arm and his size to create space.
Yeah, and that's the second run in a row where Azir Nelson was almost brought down for no gain, that time by Jay Nitz, the first time by Alex Haskell and Anthony Sacca, but broke all of those tackles and now has two quick first downs for the Explorer as they're marching down the midfield.
Culiberdino deep in the secondary for the Hawks. This one's going to be handed off to Joshua Simmons. Simmons up the middle, and the Prep caught on this time. No gain on the play. 2nd and 10 pending.
Yeah, that was a great tackle by Jay Nitz. Came around, got him from the back, pulled him back behind the offensive line. Great play there from the sophomore. He's made a huge impact this season. Has an interception on the year as well. Very rare for a defensive lineman.
Yeah, Jay Nitz and really the whole defensive line. I mean, Sean Stratz, Alex Haskell, Colin Anderson, done a great job there leading the front seven this year, especially, like we mentioned earlier, being down Maxwell Roy. Simmons deep in the backfield, way behind Sidwar. Sidwar takes the snap, looking towards Joey O'Brien. He's guarded by Messiah Acri. Flag on the play. Both of them were kind of pushing off, holding. Not too sure what the call is here, still pending the refs thing. I mean, Acri turned his head.
I think the problem is, Gavin, he was just holding his arms and he wouldn't let go.
Yeah.
He turned his head. At the very end, he made a play for the ball, but he just never let go of Joey O'Brien. Yeah. And you just can't do that, as you hear.
I feel like O'Brien was almost pushing him, too. I don't know. I mean, I definitely think it was more Messiah Acree, but I feel like O'Brien also had his hands on Acree as well.
Messiah Acree has to be close to leading the PCL in pass interference calls this season. Gets an awful lot of them. He makes up for it in interceptions, in tackles, in passes deflected, but the pass interferences have definitely tallied up here for Messiah Acree this season.
I mean, granted, he's also being given the tough task of guarding
The number one
6'5" Joey O'Brien.
Yeah, the number one player in Pennsylvania.
Handoff to Nelson. Nelson this time tripped up at the line of scrimmage, and Jay Nitz finishes the job.
Jay Nitz having a great impact at the start of this second half. Haven't really seen him in the past couple of games. Had a great start to the season. Maybe coming back into his own in the second half would be a huge benefit for the Hawks.
Front seven's really holding up pretty strong here so far, Sean. I mean, Cam Smith, Anthony Saka, both finding their ways into the backfield on their given plays. And then D-line, like we mentioned earlier, just doing a really nice job at stopping these runs early, for the most part.
Yeah, Saka having a great game so far. A couple tackles, tackles behind the line of scrimmage.
Nelson off the running start, runs into a pile. Jay Nitz jumps on top of the pile. Azir Nelson eventually brought down to the ground, but it was Alex Haskell with the initial contact there at the line of scrimmage. 3rd and about 7.
Yeah, Gavin, that was really a great job by the Explorers offensive linemen. Just didn't give up. They just kept pushing forward. Forward progress was called, but they would have gotten an extra 2-3 yards if it wasn't.
O'Brien, Swanson, J.P. Oates, and James Dolan are Gavin Sidwar's options. 2 to both sides. Takes the snap, drops back, looking towards Dolan. Just a bad throw there by Gavin Sidwar. That one's going to fall incomplete. Alex Haskell hitting him after the play. Not too much after the play for roughing the passer.
And I'm shocked Sidwar didn't look towards Joey O'Brien's side, because first of all, you would think O'Brien's always your first look. And second of all, he got a great release off the line. He would have been off to the races if he had looked that way, but he just never turned his head towards the left side of the field.
Yeah, Brandon Ross on the coverage there. Didn't have to do too much. That was just an overthrown ball by Gavin Sidwar. The LaSalle offense is going to stay out on the field. The question is, are they punting or are they actually going for it?
This might be 4-down territory.
Colabardino looks to be ready for it. It's a bad snap, and it's loose. Sidwar to the races. Lockley down there, taps him on the helmet, and he's going to be marked down at his own 35. St. Joe's prep ball in LaSalle territory.
Yeah, great play. Honestly, not even a great play. Just a horrible play from LaSalle there. 20-yard loss. Brandon Lockley. If that was a regular design play, Lockley still would have been unblocked off the edge.
Yeah.
Almost beat Sidwar to the ball.
Yeah. It was a nice job by Gavin Sidwar to actually corral the ball and bring it down to the ground, because it was bouncing pretty heavily. Could have been a dangerous situation there, like you said, with Lockley chasing that ball down.
And a really heads-up play from Lockley there to not fall on him, to not hit him too hard. Just tapped him on the helmet, marked him down.
Exactly.
Don't need to do too much. You don't need to get a roughing the passer.
Charlie fakes the jet sweep to Turner, drops back. He's got to manage Chet Harrison. Harrison falling down into the end zone. Nice coverage there by Joey O'Brien. That one's going to fall incomplete.
Every single play, every single person here on the prep sideline in the prep press box is screaming for pass interference.
I don't know.
Harrison was pushed to the ground on that one.
I don't know. Was he pushed or did he trip?
I think he was pushed. First of all, I think if Charlie had seen him a little bit earlier, he had a little bit more space. But then you run into the end zone and you have to worry about going out of the back. So he might have slowed down a little bit. But I think he was pushed to the ground there. And what I really think is, if
it
that
was still an underthrown ball.
It was still an underthrown ball. If Charlie had seen him a little bit earlier, it might have been a lot better. But I definitely think that was a missed call on the refs.
Folk drops back, looking. Ramir Hardy wide open. No one there, and he drops the football. Ramir Hardy had nothing but green grass ahead of him and just wasn't able to come down with it.
Ramir Hardy has been having a great game today, but that one just unforgivable. Would have been a huge play. No one around him.
Wow.
But green grass.
Definitely one Ramir Hardy's going to want to have back when he goes back and looks at the film. Probably going to be thinking about it after the game. Just a blown-up coverage there. Joey O'Brien, miscommunication with Hawkins. and Ramir Hardy had the end zone.
And it was a great thrown ball. It was a very well thrown ball from
Folk
Cole.
pressured early, hit a little bit as he throws. Jameer Rowe comes down with it. Rowe breaks a tackle. Rowe on the sideline. 5, touchdown, Jameer Rowe. Breaking a tackle, and then with a foot, and then just finds himself in a foot race with Justin Hawkins into the end zone. Flag on the play.
And Gavin, that was a great play from Charlie Folk. Hit as he throws, gets away a great throw to Jameer Rowe, and then Ramir Hardy and Jet Harrison blocking.
An eligible man downfield on the Hawks. This one's coming back.
That's just a killer there, Gavin. Huge momentum swing.
Coach kind of yelling at Justin Hawkins. Hawkins playing the safety position. And Jameer Rowe really just kind of torched him there in a race to the end zone. Not too sure who the ineligible man was.
We're looking at it right now. There was no one even in front of the line of scrimmage, so I'm not sure what was seen there by the refs.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but regardless.
If you skip back right now, you'll see there was literally no one in front of the line of scrimmage.
Regardless, Hawks on the LaSalle 43. They signal for an offsides. They get it. Flag on the play. So 3rd and 14 will turn into about 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8.
It should have really been a touchdown already between Ramir dropping that wide open pass and the really confusing call on an eligible man downfield.
And honestly, Sean, you're in kind of that awkward zone that we talked about earlier where it almost is four down territory because you're a little bit too far out of Leo's range. Even if you get closer to the first down marker, you're still too far out of it. So the Hawks could be playing with 2 downs here. Charlie escapes the pocket, looking to take it himself. He runs up the middle towards the first down marker, gets hit, and he's going to get there.
Huge play by Charlie Folk there using his legs. You almost wonder why he didn't run a little bit sooner, but it worked out great for him in the end. Great
Charlie Folk using his legs, not scared to take the hit. Hayden McDonald made contact with him. He's now down and injured on the field, but Charlie Folk just resilience and not scared to take a hit. But as I said, I mean, Hayden McDonald now down on the field. LaSalle trainers out there tending to him. It looks to be his left leg, right leg?
I think right.
Right leg. I mean, it was kind of an awkward tackle that they both kind of try to make on Charlie Folk.
They're kind of massaging it. I wonder if it was more like just like a big bruise.
It's going to be his left leg. Yeah, you're right. It's going to be his left. He's going to walk off the field on his own weight, little bit of a limp, but nothing crazy. So he should be okay.
And we've seen already from Charlie today, him just not afraid to take the sack. And great job here. You never want your quarterback to take a hit, but in that type of situation, he needed 1 more yard or it was going to be 4th down. He was just completely fearless going into that hit.
Folk fakes the snap, and it's going to be false start on the Hawks. Really angry there at his own team for that one. 1st and 10, now back to 1st and 15.
Yeah,
and it's just the little thing, Sean.
That was a pretty obvious call, Gavin. Elijah Turner was about 8 yards downfield by the time the ball was snapped. So that was a pretty easy call, but definitely a frustrating penalty. Like you said, the little things, they just add up. The Preps definitely losing the penalty battle today. That's something you'd like to see change in the second half.
Folk takes the snap, throws it, dump off over the middle to Jet Harrison. Harrison tries to make his way out towards the line of scrimmage, but John Liuth says no.
Yeah, and Charlie Folk, I don't know if it was presence or just honestly luck, but there's a man coming around behind him on his blind side that Kai Billups was trying to block, and if he didn't get rid of that exact split second, he was going to get sacked and maybe a loss of the ball. So great job to get that away just in time, and Jet Harrison picking up a couple yards.
I mean, not to jinx anything, but Charlie Folk has done a really nice job in the pocket being more calm, cool, and collective than that first game against LaSalle. First game against LaSalle, he was antsy, wanted to get rid of the ball. Now he kind of knows his role, and he's able to stand in the pocket, take a hit if he needs to, and scramble if need be. Folk over the middle. This time it's going to be Jameer Rowe. Rowe breaks another tackle around the first down marker. Not sure if he got there. Waiting for a signal. And the chains will move. Jameer Rowe, a nice catch, broken tackle, and falls forward for the first.
Great throw there by Charlie Folk, a linebacker in front of Rowe, a safety behind him, able to fit it in that really, really tight crease to pick up a first down, gain of 12. Just an overall great play.
See, that's Elijah Turner on the reception.
Elijah Turner, usually easy to identify by his bright neon cleats, not wearing them today.
And not wearing the Michigan cleats today. Folk takes the snap, pressured, scrambles out to his right, has some time, looking to go to Ramir Hardy. Instead, he sails that one out of bounds over the head of both Hardy and Dolan. Flag on the play.
Yeah, that was
Ref signals for holding.
That was a smart play by Charlie Folk.
Get rid of it.
Yeah, get rid of it in the area of a receiver.
Holding on the Hawks. That one's going to come back 5 yards.
But yeah, you're really seeing Charlie Folk matured so much in the last 35 days since that last LaSalle game. He's throwing the ball away. He's holding on to it instead of trying to zip it to a receiver who's in tight coverage. He's really looking like a seasoned vet out there as opposed to last LaSalle game where he just looked a little bit antsy, looked a little bit scrambled. Wasn't really sure what he was supposed to do. He looked
more like an underclassman. He's playing this game as if he is an upperclassman right now.
Yeah, he looks super confident in the pocket, super confident rolling out, trying to extend plays.
1st and 20.
Timeout Hawks.
Timeout St. Joe's Prep.
I wonder if the play clock was winding down a little bit there. But the one thing I did see that I liked was Ramir and Jet Harrison were in a bunch set on the right side with only Joey O'Brien there. So that would have been no safety help. So that could have been potentially big play for the Hawks, just unable to get it off in time.
Yeah, definitely, Sean. 14-7, still your score here at Wissahickon High School. Halfway through this third quarter, 18 minutes left to play in one of these two-team seasons. As we said, winner go home scenario. Winner will play Imhotep as they just beat Lincoln High School in a last-second touchdown.
And Gavin, this is a nice methodic drive from the Prep, but you really have to think there was 3 almost touchdowns on this drive.
True.
So you like to say it's a nice methodic drive, but really it's kind of, falling apart.
Folk looking to Ramir Hardy off the curl. And that one's going to tip off his hands, incomplete, 2nd and 20.
And Folk lucky that a LaSalle edge rusher kind of tripped up on his own feet before getting to him. But if not, he was coming off the edge unblocked. Folk would have had a hard time getting away from that one.
Yeah, Ramir Hardy, committed to Temple this past offseason. Not sure if we mentioned that yet. But 14 receptions, 181 yards, 3 touchdowns on the season. And, he's battled through some injuries this year, like you said, that shoulder. But has overall done a nice job in today's game. Kyan Billups up the middle, left side. That one's going to go just about nowhere.
And that's really the first time we've seen Kyan Billups in the second half. I'm not sure why 2nd and 20 is the time you would decide to pull out your running back, but it is nice to see him in the second half for the first time. Although it does show an awful lot of trust in Charlie Folk, which I would agree with today. He's playing out of his mind, looking calm and collected in the pocket, out of the pocket, making good reads, making good throws.
Yeah. Folk in the shotgun. Harrison, Hardy, and Turner.
Play clock at 2.
All viable receiving options for Charlie Folk. Folk escapes his blind side, almost like he knew it was there. Looking end zone, Elijah Turner. Nice coverage there by James Dolan. That ball is going to fall incomplete. But, boy, coming off the edge, Cooper Heilig almost getting to Charlie Folk, able to get it away, see that he's there, and avoid the sack.
Folk almost with eyes in the back of his head.
Yeah.
Rolled out of the pressure that I don't even know how he knew that was there.
Yeah.
But just missed the throw to Elijah Turner. I was expecting maybe a flag there because the underthrown ball really puts the DBs in a bad situation.
And now here comes Leo Ricci. Ricci now, this one's going to be 46 yards. The kick is away in the air, and that one's good. No good. No good. It didn't look like that.
It really looked like it was on point, Gavin.
First missed field goal of the season for Leo Ricci. That one looked on point. The wind kind of blowing against him.
I think it was a little bit short. I think it was through the uprights just a little bit short.
Short and right is what we're hearing.
Richie, the first time he has missed a field goal or PAT in his prep
And honestly,
career.
that's a pretty...
That's a good one to lose.
Yeah,
on.
that's a pretty one to miss. I mean, 46, 47 yards, and
that's the limit of a range
Yeah.
for a high school kicker.
also with wind in your face too. Who knows?
Yeah, wind blowing against you.
Wind definitely blowing against you. Blowing left to right, kind of against you. That one, of course, short and right. Definitely checks out. Sidwar looking. O'Brien on the quick comeback route, trying to turn upfield and make a move. Messiah Acree won't let him. Samaj Hill won't let him do so. Stop just short of the line of gain. 2nd and 1.
Yeah, and that's where that, I don't want to say lazy, but that's where that, kind of conservative coverage kills you. Samaj Hill, was probably about 12 yards away from Joey O'Brien. Sidwar recognized it, just hit a quick throw to O'Brien and a nice gain of 9 yards.
Yeah, I mean, for the Hawks, it's really trying to get Sidwar off tempo, trying to get into the backfield quick, get him early, get some sacks, get him off tempo. It'd be nice to see that here.
They haven't really
on
done
this
it
drive.
so far.
They haven't done it so far this drive, but get him out of his comfort zone a little bit. Sidwar, just a lack of communication there with Chris Filippo, it seemed, as that one was way behind him, even behind Samaj Hill. No one even tried to make a play on that ball.
Yeah, I thought Samaj had a free interception, but it was even 10 yards behind him.
3rd and 1 now, as Azir Nelson checks in for James Dolan.
Samaj Hill had decent coverage on that play.
Yeah.
If it was a better thrown ball, Samaj still would have had a chance to deflect that one. 3rd and very short for the Explorers here. Let's see what the prep can do to stop that.
Yeah, Oates and Swanson near side. O'Brien and Ortiz far side. Ortiz in motion around the line of scrimmage. He's looking, comeback route, Joey O'Brien. O'Brien's tackled in the air by his feet. They're going to signal that he got there. First down for the Hawks.
Rogan was extremely enthusiastic on the sideline that he did not get there. And I'm not sure I disagree with him. Great play by Messiah.
I think he fell forward.
I mean, Messiah literally grabbed his legs in the air and pulled him back.
That's all you can do if you're Messiah.
I think Joey O'Brien is just so tall. I think his body was in front of the first down line.
Yeah, I mean, Joey O'Brien's 6'4". Messiah Acree undersized, maybe not even 6 foot.
I think Messiah Acree is about 5'8", 5'9".
Throwing towards Anthony Saka, intended receivers Ortiz out of the backfield. That one gets tipped out of bounds through the hands of Saka. Could have been an interception. Nice job by the prep defense picking up on that. Last game, a lot of breakaway plays from Desmond Ortiz, kind of squirming out of the backfield and getting open down the sideline. Saka obviously watched film, did his work at home, read that one kind of like a book.
Yeah, Gavin, we've said that all game. Ortiz has kind of been used as a receiving threat like he has all season, and it's really the wheel routes that kill every team, including the prep. Saka not only deflected that one and had good coverage, but almost came away with an interception.
Trips for LaSalle on the near sideline. Sidwar has time, throwing over the middle. That's caught by Dolan. Dolan upfield and across the 50-yard line.
And Lockley had a beat on that ball. He was running away from it was the problem. He had to stop and turn. If he wasn't running in the opposite direction, he would have had a play on it. He kind of got tripped up trying to turn around. That was a dangerous throw from Sidwar there, but it worked out for the best.
It was a really good throw from Sidwar, too. Hit Dolan right in stride, gave him the ability to turn his head, make something happen with his feet. Hand off to Nelson. Nelson bouncing to the outside. Ryan McDonald flips him down to the ground.
Ryan McDonald has been playing great all season. It's really the first time we've seen him on this particular game. Great tackle there, authoritative for a stop, no gain. Nelson's going to check out of the game looking, I don't know if he's disappointed, but he looks a little bit dazed, a little bit out of it. He did hit the ground pretty hard there.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Maybe he's just disappointed that he didn't get much, but he looks a little bit out of it.
or just the fact that LaSalle's going 4 receivers this time and going to have Desmond Ortiz in the backfield. Low snap. Sidwar able to get under it. Throws far sideline to James Dolan. Dolan once again wrestled down. I believe that was Brandon Lockley on the tackle.
And one thing I've seen so far is those quick little throws from Gavin Sidwar, the little hook routes, have just been killing the prep because they're playing such conservative coverage. They're playing, 9, 10, 11, 12 yards back, and that's really killing them because LaSalle hasn't had chunk plays all game. They've been doing well without it, except for one Joey O'Brien touchdown play. They've been under 20 yards every single play. The prep's just letting them move the change too easily on that far sideline.
4 wide once again for LaSalle. Looking at his options, Cam Smith almost lurked. Gavin Sidwar on that one, tipping that one out of reach of Nick Swanson. Nice coverage there by Cam Smith, kind of playing the eye game with Gavin Sidwar. Are you going to throw it? Are you not? Sidwar decides to throw it. Almost came away with that one, Cam Smith.
Yeah, Cam Smith, great pass deflection there. Just honestly, just a great job to keep the ball away from the receiver. He didn't really try to make a play on it. He was just trying to just knock it away, which was a great heads-up play. And there's when you see the linebackers just continuing to play outstanding for the prep. 2 4-stars really earning their worth here.
And Smith, top 20 linebacker in his class.
Saka can't be far behind him either.
And just doing a great job in coverage and on the rush. Sidwar gets away from trouble in this one, throws to J.P. Oates over the middle, and he's going to be brought down by Ryan McDonald, but not after getting the first down for the Explorers.
Yeah, and Gavin, either way, that was going to be a first down because Sidwar had room to run.
Yeah.
He would have got it anyway, but there was, the receivers for the Explorers were kind of strapped up the entire first 3-4 seconds of the play. But when you get out of the pocket, when you extend the play, when you get to 5 and 6 seconds, that's when it becomes increasingly harder for those defensive backs to stay in tight coverage. And you saw it there. Oates just came across the middle for Gavin Sidwar. I'm positive that wasn't his design route because he started on outside on a curl, and then he came back across the middle when the play broke down.
Yeah, just playmaking ability there shown by John Patrick Oates. J.P. Oates, another 2-sport athlete. He also plays basketball for LaSalle. So does Joey O'Brien. Difficulty with the chains. Credit to Mr. Abington. As both teams now look ready, the issue seems to be sorted out. 1st and 10 pending for the Explorers. Gavin Sidwar trots out with Joey O'Brien, J.P. Oates, James Dolan, Desmond Ortiz, and Nick Swanson. Those are the kind of core 6 guys on this LaSalle offense. And it's really been a lot of J.P. Oates this game. J.P. Oates and James Dolan.
It really has. It's been Sidwar spreading the ball. Joey O'Brien has done what he always does. He's the kind of guy who will get 100 yards and you don't even notice. But Oates has been having a great game. A lot of throws across the middle, almost like, I don't want to draw too much of a comparison, but kind of like how the Eagles use A.J. Brown. Just use the frame across the middle.
Yeah.
Because that's just such a hard route to guard when you're that big.
Yeah.
And also Dolan on those short out routes has been killing the prep. So Sidwar has just been doing a great job of seeing all of his receivers across the whole field.
Yeah, J.P. Oates has really been using those kind of plays that we talked about. They kind of just break down, and he has the ability, like you said, to go over the middle, use his frame, and make a grab. That's what the Explorers are kind of using him as right now. They have him there almost like designed to run across the middle when there is no other option or his route has already been ran through. And it's obviously working here as he has upwards of 6 or 7 receptions on the afternoon. 1st and 10. Gavin Sidwar drops back looking towards Swanson. Swanson pushed out of bounds by Colabardino, but not after securing the football for a gain of about 7, 2nd and 3 to come.
Yeah, that's a really tough route to guard, those little out routes, but it's also a really tough ball to throw. You have to lead the receiver towards the sideline, and you think, oh, it's just a 5-6 yard throw. But the field is 40 yards wide, so that is a really difficult throw to make. Nice throw there by Sidwar. And just, again, those short routes continue to just kill the Prep. LaSalle, a great drive here, taking almost the entire third quarter off the clock.
2nd and short for the Explorers. Azir Nelson in the backfield with Gavin Sidwar. Nelson will get the handoff. Cam Smith coming off the edge, makes first contact with him. Brandon Lockley finishes the job off at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, nice little tag team by Cam Smith and Brandon Lockley. Cam Smith really slowed him down at the line, just barely missed the tackle. Lockley was there to pick up what was left.
3rd and 3 for the Explorers. And, I mean, obviously, you've kind of seen it all day. They're probably going for it if they don't get it. So,
I don't know about here, though. This is the first time they've really been in field goal range without scoring a touchdown.
true. It's still kind of a far field. It's still a 40-yard field goal almost.
That is makeable for a couple high school kickers, but the Prep is a
Takes the handoff to Nelson. That one's going to be thrown over the middle. Messiah Acree gets the tipped pass. Intended receiver was Nick Swanson. And so 4th and 3, and now comes the decision.
And Messiah.
And I think Coach Gordon's already made up his mind, Sean.
Messiah really could have had that interception on the tip.
He
just started
celebrating
so early. I mean, as soon as he hit the ball, he put his arms out as to say, no fly zone, but he really could have had that tip pass. That's definitely going to bug the coaches.
4th down and 3. 44 seconds left to play in this third quarter. Need a stop if you're the Prep. Sidwar drops back. Play kind of imploding. Alex Haskell chasing him. Sidwar throws up a prayer into the end zone, and Messiah Acree comes up with the football.
And Sidwar, offensive line, did a great job protecting him. Sidwar, I'm not sure why he rolled out. He had all day in the pocket. No one was near him. But as soon as he rolled out, Nitz, and I think that was Saka, got free. Maybe I'm mistaken, but 2 guys got out there.
Nitz and Haskell.
Nitz and Haskell, was it? They got out there, put a hand in his face, and then just a Hail Mary throw that Messiah Acree was able to pick off.
Messiah Acree picking that ball out of the air. Just going up, climbing the ladder.
And as much as almost it would have been better if he knocked that down,
yeah,
the key there is momentum, because not getting that, him knocking that down versus him getting an interception is a total difference in terms of momentum for the game. And like you can feel it on this sideline. The energy is just down.
Yeah, morale definitely down here on the LaSalle sideline. 14-7, like we said, is your score. 30 seconds left to play in this third quarter. They're going to take the ball to the ground with Kyan Billups. Billups turns the edge almost completely, but gets pushed out of bounds by Christopher Filippo just past the first down marker.
And I've been saying it all game and really all season. When you design Kyan Billups a run towards the outside, he's going to get you yards. He's faster than every defender on the field, and he's agile, and when he's in open space, he breaks those tackles. When you get him to the outside, he is a top-tier running back. I'm not sure why they don't do it more often, but Kyan Billups, great run there towards the far sideline.
Folk goes back to Billups again, this time right up the middle, nowhere to go. 2nd down and long.
Kyan Billups had a huge role in the beginning of this game in the first half. Really haven't seen much of him until this drive in the second half, only 2-3 carries.
Fourth quarter now. 12 minutes to play. 12 minutes left in some of these seniors' high school football careers. 12 minutes left in one of these teams' seasons. That's the beautiful thing about this winner go home kind of game. I mean, all of it's on the line, Sean, and when you come into the fourth quarter up 7 or down 7, it's still in reach for both teams.
Yeah, and you got guys on both sides. On the Prep, you got guys like Anthony Saka, Cam Smith, Max Roy, even though he's not playing, West, even though he's not playing. Those guys, those 4 stars, those anchors on this team who might never put on a jersey again after these next 12 minutes. And
a Prep jersey.
Prep jersey, excuse me. But this is the kind of stuff that you write about. I mean, 7 points, 1-score game. Start of the fourth quarter. You can't make it any better than this.
Can't get much better than this.
I mean, maybe if the Prep was up, 7-21, but that might be a little bit better.
Kind of ruins the whole rivalry aspect, though. I mean, you got the rivalry game, 7 points, could go either way. Prep in command, Tide could switch. It's kind of that excitement that you wish for.
The nail biters.
Folk, 4 receivers. Puts Harrison in motion. Now 3 to his right, 1 to his left. That 1 to his left is Elijah Turner. Dropping back, firing. Ramir Hardy on the quick comeback route. Hardy collides with Christopher Filippo, more like forced out of bounds, but well after getting the first down.
And the Hawks kind of taking a page out of the Explorers playbook, just those quick comeback routes.
Yeah.
And you recognized it was zone coverage because when Harrison went in motion, O'Brien didn't follow him. He stayed on his side. He stayed in his zone. So it was a pretty obvious zone coverage there. So you knew Ramir was going to get those easy 5-yard separations.
Yeah.
And just a great job from Charlie to recognize it and Ramir to push forward for the first down.
Folk hands it off to Billups. Billups moving in the backfield, finding some space, and gains about 7 yards on the play before being brought down by Chris Filippo. Filippo, a guy we don't really highlight on this LaSalle defense. Not a lot of people would think. I mean, he's committed to West Virginia.
And Kion Billups on that run, it's almost like Old Eagles running back there in Sproles. He just kind of disappeared in that pile, and I had no idea where he went. And then 4 yards farther down the field, he just kind of popped out, and he was still on his feet. Really impressive run by him there.
2nd and 2 for the Hawks. Nanum flips it back to Folk. Once again, Billups up the middle. Forward progress, I think, is going to get him there.
The refs are signaling for a first
and it's going to be a first down. The chains will move.
Billups just proving everybody wrong what he can do up the middle. Obviously, he's still better on the sideline. He's still better in open space, and he's still better when he can use his speed. But he's been really capable this game of pushing the pile, of really just being almost a force in the backfield.
And, I mean, while he's doing that, the clock is ticking, too.
Yeah, that's really the key. You want to commit to the run game, to the short passes when you're up, especially in a situation like this late in the game. Because if you can take, 3-4 minutes off the clock here and score, that's extremely deflating for the Explorers.
This one is blown up in the backfield by Dylan Clare and John Liuth. Kion Billups just had absolutely nowhere to go in the blink of an eye. Those 2 linebackers were back there.
Yeah, Gavin, that one was almost a sack. Charlie barely even got the handoff off.
Nice job there by the LaSalle D-line. Haven't seen too much of that. The Prep offensive line has really held their own.
And that goes both ways, too. The Prep, only a few sacks. Cam Smith, obviously.
Yeah, but I feel like the Prep is doing a much better job than LaSalle at getting the quarterback. I feel like Charlie Folk has been pretty well protected. This one to Ramir Hardy on the far sideline. Shifty moves, cross the line to gain, and inside, just outside of the LaSalle 30-yard line.
And Gavin, like you said, the Hawks have just been a better job in terms of consistently making pressure. Seaguar's been very uncomfortable in the pocket.
I agree.
They haven't got to him, and they haven't got any tip passes. They haven't got to him much, and they have 0 tip passes. But they're just forcing him to be uncomfortable, to roll out and make throws he doesn't want to make, like the interception to Messiah Acree last time.
Billups up the middle. He's going to slip on the turf, I believe, before being tapped down by Jamel Williams. Just an unlucky rush attempt for Kion Billups there. It really wasn't tackled, more just brought down by the turf.
And Gavin, I wonder if the Sun's going to play a little bit of a role in Coach Roken's decisions here.
To kick the field goal?
Charlie might have a different perspective on the deep ball because that sun is right in his eyes. He might have a little bit of trouble seeing his receivers. So I wonder if he's going to stick to the ground game here or those short throws.
Folk hands it off once again to Billups. Billups tripping forward. And a gain of about 4 on the play. It's going to be 3rd and 6. So manageable for the Hawks. But The real question is, do you go to the air? Do you go to the ground once again and just try to take as much clock off as you can? You have to go to the air, in my opinion.
Gavin, in my opinion, I'd go to Billups outside. Billups isn't going to get 6 yards inside. He's been playing great all game, but I just think 6 is a little bit too much for him. If you get him to the outside, though, he'll get 6 in his sleep. So I think that would be my design play call here. But if not, I'd look for Harrison over the middle, maybe Novotny over the middle, who's yet to see a target in this game.
3rd and 6. 3 receivers and Novotny out there for the Prep. Novotny's going to be used as a blocker. Charlie Folk looking. Throw behind Elijah Turner. He's able to make the snag. Does he have enough for the first down? And he does. The chains will move. First down for St. Joe's Prep.
And Elijah Turner really showing off his hands that we haven't seen all too much this season.
That was a really nice play.
Great catch there.
Yeah.
A really off-the-mark throw from Charlie Folk. Forced Turner to kind of dive backwards from where he was running.
Yeah, just
Made
able
the
to
catch.
just
And
able
the
to
first down.
adapt. Able to adapt, and that's that upperclassmanship shown there by Elijah Turner. Able to adapt to Charlie Folk's throw, come down with the snag when it matters most, and reset the downs for the Hawks.
It
5 seconds left on the
looks
play
like
clock for
man-to-man
Charlie
here.
Folk. Folk's going to hand it off to Billups. Billups right up the gut. Nowhere to go except for stumbling forward of about 2 or 3 yards.
Yeah, decent run by Billups there. Kind of nowhere to go. Stumbled forward for 3 or 4. Turned a little bit of something out of nothing.
2nd down. Prep now inside of the LaSalle red zone, so knocking on the door of points. Any points are viable points right now.
Assuming Richie can make those field goals, which he almost always makes.
All receivers to Folk's right. Turner, Hardy, Harrison in that order. Folk has Harrison on the screen. He doesn't decide to go to it. Instead, he's going to go to Ramir Hardy over the top. A nice throw there by Charlie Folk. Able to clear the head of Christian Peterman. And an even better job by Ramir Hardy catching that ball, turning upfield to get the first down.
God, Gavin, that kind of throw. I mean, it messes with your head. It messes with your stomach. There's just a momentary panic of, oh my God, that's going to get picked off. Great throw by Charlie Folk. Extremely risky. But Ramir Hardy had the room and he had the separation. So definitely the right read.
Yeah.
Just the real only risk was getting it over the head of Christian Peterman.
High
and
risk,
he
high
managed
reward.
to do that. And like you said, high risk, high reward. And Ramir stumbles forward into first and goal territory.
1st and goal from the LaSalle 10. This looks to be a design run with McConnell in the backfield. Probably uses an extra blocker for Cayenne Billups. It is. Billups, nice cut up the middle, inside the 5-yard line, spinning, still up. Cayenne Billups into the end zone. Touchdown, St. Joe's Prep.
And Cayenne Billups is continuing to prove why he is a great fill-in for Isaiah West and why he will be the undisputed #1 running back next year for this Hawks team. First contact was really at the line of scrimmage.
Wow.
And he just got away from 3-4 defenders. And then he got stuffed at the 5-yard line. And he got away from him, too. And then continued into the end zone.
It wasn't even as much contact. It was a nice cut at the line of scrimmage by Cayenne Billups, making his defender miss, going towards the end zone. Contact, spin move, finds his way for 6.
Yeah, I really don't know how he got away from that last defender. I mean, they met face to face, chest to chest.
I was about to say he just got tackled.
And
then I
then
saw
he
him.
just somehow
Wow.
spun away from it. Great run there by Cayenne Billups and a huge play to put the Prep up 2 scores with only 6 minutes and 45 seconds left. So also a great job from Tim Roken, head coach, clock management. Wasted almost half of the 4th quarter.
6:44 left, right, as you said, Sean. PAT from Leo Ritchie is good. Make him 41 for 41 on the season. The Prep student section already waved the nah goodbye chance.
That might be a little early.
Don't know
Adam.
if that's a little early.
I wouldn't want to tempt it. Because 2 scores, it's nice, but it's not over.
It's not over, and it's really going to be this Prep defense on this drive. Can they stick it to him early and kind of get the ball back in their possession? That'll be the question everyone is dying to get answered, and Leo Ricci is going to start it off.
And Gavin, I think this drive, 1 turnover, and you don't want to say it, but 1 turnover and it's over. I mean, the LaSalle fans are already starting to kind of pile out, as you can see.
Ricci's kick is away. That is towards Lucas Johnson. Johnson comes out with it around the goal line, and he's going to be tackled hard at the 15-yard line just nowhere for him to go. And so once
I
again,
believe that was the senior Chase Whitmire, who's been very decent on special teams all year this year, kind of like Taj Horton was last year. Played a huge role just playing special teams. Was a big hitter, made a couple key plays for the Prep, and he's doing it. And Chase Whitmire's doing that this year.
Horton, of course, transferred to Oakcrest High School this past offseason in New Jersey.
But yeah, Gavin, like I said, I think one turnover here and it's over.
And now we get another look at this Explorer offense. Sidwar receives the snap, throws it over the middle to O'Brien. O'Brien tucks it and runs. Does not get away from Cam Smith, though, as he's able to drag him to the turf after a gain of about 6.
Yeah, and that was a nice quick throw from Sidwar. A really tough route to guard, that quick slant, especially with a guy as big as Joey O'Brien.
And Cam Smith doing a nice job fully extending, using that wingspan.
Just to cut the play to as little harm as possible.
Sidwar takes a snap, looking near side. Dolan. Dolan's hit hard as soon as he catches that football by Chase Whitmire.
Chase Whitmire doesn't play a whole lot, but definitely getting in here and making his presence known.
And when he gets in, John, he's
been pretty solid.
Yeah.
And in Maryland, he had the scoop and score touchdown that got called back. But that was like a 65-yard return.
Yeah.
Got called back for penalty.
He plays with a lot of passion, a lot of fire.
And if you know,
it really hits hard.
He's that kind of guy every single time you see him. He's just electric on and off the field.
Sidwar avoids the sack, throws over the middle. That one's going to hit the turf before Patrick Oates can get his left hand underneath it.
I think that was Nitz who got to Sidwar. Nearly had a sack. I mean, just a split
Nitz really
second.
put pressure on Sidwar there. 2nd and 10 to come for the Explorers. Sean, as I said, I mean, not running out of time, but got to have a little bit more of a sense of urgency right now.
Yeah, I mean, Sidwar kind of wandering back and forth from the coach to the huddle.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they do that. They like to call the plays in that fashion. Coach kind of talks to Sidwar, Coach Gordon.
The real problem is that they're down 2 scores. If you
clock stops though right now.
If you spend this
but
much
you only
time,
have 8 seconds on the play clock. You're right.
Exactly. If you spent this much time and you were only down 1 score, I'd say you got to try to get there as fast as possible. But 2 scores, you need 2 drives.
Barely
you really
gets
need time
it off.
for 3.
Ortiz on the out route, tripped up by Brandon Lockley as he gets out to around the 35. 3rd and 2.
Yeah, great tackle there. Just like we've said all game, they're gonna get what they're gonna get, but you can't let them get any extra, and that's really what the Prep's been doing in the second half. Not a whole lot of yards after catch for the Explorers. The LaSalle fans are kind of screaming for it here on the sideline. A little bit of urgency.
Sidwar has time, looking, firing. Joey O'Brien wide open, flag on the play, and O'Brien breaks free. 10-5, end zone. Touchdown, LaSalle.
Colberdino just tripped and fell, and then O'Brien was off to the races.
Flag on the play, though.
But this one might be coming back.
I'm not sure if it was against Joey O'Brien. I'm not sure if it was against Roman Colberdino.
And, I mean, whenever a quarterback has that much time in the pocket, you always have to look at the passability for a hold.
Flag's going to be against the Hawks, so result of the play is going to be a touchdown.
And, Gavin, the real killer there is that was not a good ball. If Colberdino was on his feet, not only could that have been not a touchdown, maybe not even a completion, but that could have been a turnover. I mean, that was a very underthrown ball to start, and Joey O'Brien didn't even have separation to begin with.
66 yards.
That's a killer, Gavin.
Nice throw by Gavin Sidwar, and Joey O'Brien just really able to go the distance with no one ahead of him as he trots into the end zone for a second time this afternoon. So Joey O'Brien, like we said, not really making a huge impact, but when he catches the ball.
I mean, he has LaSalle's only 2 touchdowns. He's the only one with points on the board.
Yeah, we're not hearing his name a lot. We're hearing more John Patrick Oates, James Dolan. But like we said, I mean, 4-star recruit's going to eat. Heck's kick is up and good. Kind of a chip shot there, almost blocked. But it sails through the uprights for the PAT. 21-14 now is your score. 4:45 left in this rivalry matchup.
And Gavin, you can't write it any better than this. Huge play, 66-yard touchdown to get within one score. Rivalry game, playoffs, semifinals. You know, win or go home. Two teams having great seasons.
Make sure to stay tuned right after this matchup between the Hawks and the Explorers for our postgame show, as we will be breaking down all of the action from this game. Dom Campanaro, Anthony Sorgi are standing by, ready, like I said, to break
The
down
LaSalle band is
this
playing
one.
the Fox theme. I don't know if you heard
Good
that.
observation, Sean.
Just LaSalle sideline trying to
LaSalle
get
really
their
getting
team
into
back into it, and it's kind of working.
Yeah, I
as
mean,
you see these players on the sideline.
penalty
getting
takes
hyped.
effect, too, on the kickoff. Ball moves up to the Prep's 45-yard line, and Heck just has to squib that one through the back of the end zone for the touchback.
Gavin, I know your first inclination would be to just run the clock away.
Can't.
But the question here is, do you think Kion Billups can get those 10 yards? And this is what you don't want to see if you're the Prep. This is exactly what you don't want to see if you're the Prep. The entire LaSalle body, the parents, the siblings, the students, the players, they're all getting into it. They all think they have a chance. That's like I said, everything comes down to momentum. And even though you're up, the Prep has no momentum right now. They need to kill this.
Very quiet on the Prep sideline. Pretty loud over here.
All just holding their breath.
LaSalle. Handoff to Billups. Billups tries to find a hole. He won't go anywhere.
And Billups kind of missed the hole up the middle between the center and left guard.
Yeah.
He had the hole. I mean, I don't think he would have gotten a chunk of yards, but maybe 4 or 5 as opposed to the 2 he got there.
Ran the wrong way there. Gain of 2 or 1 on the play.
And this is where I say, Gavin, I wonder if you just want to throw it just to get that first down, because if you get that initial first down, it becomes increasingly harder for LaSalle.
3 wide for the Hawks. Novotny in as well. He's been used more as a blocker all game, though, so don't really see him as a viable receiver. Folk takes the snap, looking out route. Ramir Hardy. Hardy hits hard.
Able to stay in bounds, though. That's the real key.
Yeah, you're right. Able to stay in bounds. Able to maintain possession of the ball. Moving the line to gain. 1 yard away.
Ramir, not the most built guy, but just able to absorb the hit and stay in bounds. And LaSalle
was
also
a hard hit there by James Dolan.
Great job by Charlie Folk to get that ball away, because LaSalle brought 6 or 7 maybe.
The Prep really giving LaSalle a taste of their own medicine with these out routes.
With those short routes, just to get the ball away. Noticing
we saw a lot of that last game
coverage
with Joey O'Brien.
Here, Gavin, I'd really just go to Billups, trust him to get this yard. I mean, this is a huge play in the game.
Billups up the middle, into the pile, still waiting for a signal. Forward progress, I think, gets him there based on where the refs are standing. And the chains will move. First down, St. Joe's Prep.
That is a huge breath of fresh air for the Hawks. Just a little bit of room to breathe. And, Gavin, that was so close. I mean, literally inches away. I mean, this is really a great game. LaSalle unhappy with the call, but I think that might just be the heat of the moment, because I do think it was the right call. It was just so close.
Not sure why Coach Gordon isn't calling a timeout. This clock just ticked under 3 minutes here at Wissahickon High School.
I think he's trying to save them all for first, second, and third down.
Folk drops back. Blind side, he's hit. The ball is loose in the backfield. I'm pretty sure the Prep fell on the football.
LaSalle thinks they have it.
Prep football.
God, Gavin, that was really nerve-wracking.
I was pretty positive. I saw either Kion Billups,
I think it was Balik
Turner fall on that football, and they do. LaSalle now calls timeout, and second and about 17 now pending for the Hawks.
Gavin, I wonder if the Prep's almost getting PTSD from last game when Coach Roken passed, when he should have just taken the 3. I mean, you figure in a game like this, just run the ball, hope you get that first down, but then you drop back to pass, and Charlie just got blindsided, and we've seen him hold on to the ball all game.
Yeah.
Which is a great play from the LaSalle defensive ends
to
draw that ball loose, and that was really close for Roken and the Hawks.
Hayden McDonald just came screaming off that edge, and I was kind of like, oh, I shouted it out there on the broadcast. I was like, he's right there. Like, he's got to get rid of the ball.
And you knew he was going for the ball. McDonald came off the edge with his hand up in the air. I mean, he was going for the ball no matter what. He came off the edge with his hand in the air.
2nd and 17 for St. Joe's Prep. They're going to run it up the gut with Kyan Billups. He's going to bounce to the outside. Billups gets a few yards, but not even back to the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 14.
Yeah, and Gavin, I really agree with the call.
LaSalle calls timeout to stop the clock.
Just run the ball. Don't throw it. Don't risk it. I mean, you have such a higher chance of a turnover if a pass play. Charlie might fumble. There might be an interception. I would just run this ball. Let them call the timeout with, 2:20 left, maybe 2:15 left, and just trust your defense. They've been solid all game long. You just have to trust your defense in the situation, especially considering LaSalle needs a touchdown.
Yeah.
It's not a 3-point game. They need to get into the end zone, and even when they get into the end zone, it's only a tie game unless they go for 2. And we
Wouldn't
might
be
see
surprised if they went for 2.
We might see another overtime. God, that would be storybook.
That would be something.
Hopefully not 5 like we saw last game.
Long. 1 timeout left for LaSalle. 2 minutes and 21 seconds.
And momentum on their side.
Charlie Folk out to command this St. Joe's Prep offense. Trips to his left, Hardy solo to his right. Folk drops back, escapes the pressure, throws to Hardy on the slant. Hardy out across the 30-yard line, but that's not going to be even close to enough for the first down.
And
4th
Gavin,
and about 11 still.
This is where I really disagree with Coach Roken in the play call. If you're going to throw it short, just run the ball. Don't risk the turnovers. I know they had a man deep in Elijah Turner, and just if you're not going to go for the first down, just run the ball. Don't take the turnover. The only benefit to that play was it took an awful lot more time off the clock than a run would have.
Timeout LaSalle. They're out of timeouts. 1:59.
That's the other thing. They need a touchdown, less than 2 minutes left, and no timeouts. You have to trust your defense.
1:59 left to play. Joey O'Brien looked to be set up to receive this punt. I'm pretty sure it will be him. So as much as it's up to the defense, it's also up to Leo Ricci. Ricci kind of had a fluke of a first punt.
Yeah, Leo's got to get this one away, and he's got to get it long and away.
Wind, of course, right to left. Kind of in his favor now as that last kick was the opposite way and hurting.
Yeah, definitely gets the wind on his side this time. I mean, if the real goal here is to get him inside the 30.
Yeah.
Because if they get out anywhere near towards midfield, I'd be really nervous if I was a Prep fan.
And also to sky the kick so that Joey O'Brien doesn't have time to kind of corral it.
No, I mean, you never want to trust Joey O'Brien to do anything wrong.
Kick is almost blocked. That one's going to bounce at the 40 and trickle towards the 30-yard line, inside the 30 to about the 27. So a nice punt there by Leo Ricci. Pins LaSalle inside their own 30-yard line with 1:59 left to go.
I mean, Gavin, if you're the Prep, this isn't the dream scenario. Up 7 with 1:46 left against your rivals. But especially after that punt, it's about as good as it could be in this type of situation. I mean, like we said, the goal was to get him inside the 30. And I almost didn't think he was going to do it, but a favorable bounce, and Joey O'Brien elects to just let it roll. And the Prep got him all the way almost back to the 25. So almost, a touchback lengths to go for the Explorers here.
Yeah, definitely, Sean. I mean, it's a far way from the end zone. But like we saw last drive with the Joey O'Brien 66-yard touchdown, definitely not out of reach. Samaj Hill covering Joey O'Brien. Sidwar just going to throw it and dump it off to Joshua Simmons. Sean Stratz on the tackle around the line of scrimmage.
Stratz getting into it, does his celebration, and then sprints back to the defensive line to get ready for the play.
Clock still running. Second and long. 1:28 to go. Sidwar drops back, looks towards Dolan. He's chased by Alex Haskell now out of the pocket. He's got to get rid of it. Fires towards Dolan. That ball's fallen incomplete.
And
3rd and 8.
Alex Haskell had a really extremely impressive finesse move there. People forget quite how big Alex Haskell is. He's a very, very big guy. And he was met pad to pad with a LaSalle offensive lineman, spun away as Sidwar got out, and just forced him to throw. I mean, it wasn't really a bad throw, but just forced him to throw on the run uncomfortably.
And definitely not what he wanted to in this scenario. He wants those big chunk plays. Wasn't able to get it there.
3rd down. Oh, my gosh.
O'Brien in motion. On the near sideline, slanting across the middle. Sidwar looking, firing to O'Brien. O'Brien's in. The ball is loose. And it's picked up by St. Joe's Prep.
Is it incomplete or is it a fumble? That's the
Is
question.
it incomplete or is it a fumble,
They're calling it
Sean?
a fumble.
It's a fumble, and Messiah Acree comes away with it.
And the coaches are going crazy. The fans are going crazy. And the LaSalle sideline cannot believe it.
Joey O'Brien, a minute and 15 seconds away from almost what seemed to be a perfect game in his eyes, besides the thing. Oh, they're going to call it incomplete.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
You know, Gavin, I'm not going to lie. I really don't disagree with the call. O'Brien barely had the ball. He never even got his feet down on the ground before he dropped it. But, I mean,
down.
Just to let that type of momentum, I mean, we're sitting right next to the coach's box, and they were jumping up and down, hugging each other, slamming the walls, excited, as was the entire Prep sideline. The LaSalle sideline couldn't believe it. To turn that call over at a moment like this is just such a killer for the momentum.
4th down and long. 1 minute and 7 seconds left to play. 2 to both of Sidwar's sides. Fakes the handoff, drops back, pressure moderate, throws over the middle. James Dolan's the intended receiver, and he drops the football. James Dolan drops the football, and St. Joe's Prep is going to win the football game.
Samaj Hill, amazing coverage when it matters most.
The
Samaj
undefeated
Hill.
season seems to be coming to an end here for the LaSalle Explorers. A great season. Flag on the play. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I'm assuming it's going to be excessive celebration on the Hawks. I mean, the entire team is on the field.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, but the offense trots back out. A great game from both teams.
Now the Prep fans are doing the goodbye chant, and now you can't blame them. Seems like it's
Charlie
just about
Folk,
game over.
A nice, really good bounce back game for Charlie Folk, especially considering his last outing against LaSalle obviously didn't go the way we wanted it to. But a great effort by both teams, battled it out to the end. The Prep just coming away with it, and that's thanks to that late score in the 4th quarter by Kion Billups.
And Dolan's teammates right now on the sideline, teammates and coaches trying to comfort him. That was a really tough catch to make, especially with Samaj Hill right on him in coverage.
Yeah.
I mean,
And it sucks.
and it was a good throw too. I mean, it was just a crazy hard catch to make. And like you said, Gavin, it just sucks.
It
10-0 season, #1 ranked team in PA. You're feeling good. You just beat your longtime rivals of 150 years in your last matchup, coming into the playoffs, just to lose it all on the last second play.
A
It's
minute
just brutal.
3 left. Folks going to kneel this one out. It's not going to be enough. They're going to have to take another knee.
And this is my favorite formation, not only the victory formation, but Anthony Sacca about 15 yards behind Folk, just in case there's a fumbled snap, so he can get it back.
Stands are kind of clearing here at Wazikin High School on the LaSalle sideline. But like we said, I mean, just a great season for LaSalle, and they'll be back next year, Sean. I mean, Joey O'Brien, only a junior. Gavin Sidwar, only a junior. You lose players like Julian McFadden, Desmond Ortiz, but a lot of your players are juniors.
Just for the record, that was a slightly fumbled snap. Charlie dropped the ball.
Charlie
Just
did drop the
saying.
ball. Flag on the play. Both teams looking to walk off the field. I'm not sure if the refs are going to make them actually redo a knee.
Yeah, that would be kind of cruel.
Penalties
Offsides.
declined. And the game is
Over.
ladies and gentlemen. No, they're going to make them
They're going to make him re-knee it.
They're going to make them re-knee the ball. I don't. Okay, they're going to make them. I guess they're going to knee the ball again. Like,
I mean, all the players celebrating on the sideline, it's over. I think it's almost cruel to make them knee it out. But oh no, Rogan declines the penalty. The clock's going to run out.
I mean, like, it doesn't matter at this point.
The clock's running off. Rogan declines.
Clock's running off. 15 seconds to go. Like I said before, this game is over, ladies and gentlemen. The Prep gets their get back, the revenge they wanted. They trusted, they fought, they improved a lot from that first game against LaSalle. LaSalle gave a great effort. Everybody on the team, wasn't just Joey O'Brien, wasn't just Gavin Sidwar, James Dolan, JP Oates, Desmond Ortiz, Azir Nelson, all on the offense. Great game for them as well. Their season, unfortunately, comes to an end this afternoon.
And Gavin,
St. Joe's Prep still playing for a state title, would be their 9th in the last 11 years, as their next game will be next Saturday at 11 a.m. Northeast High School versus Imhotep Charter.
and this is the type of brutal game because you could see on that last drive, just like after the first down incompletion, after the second down incompletion, and then after that almost fumble, you could just slowly see the perfect season starting to slip away. It's just brutal, heartbreaking loss for LaSalle. But the Prep, like you said, able to get their get-backs, able to move on.
Yeah.
What a game from both sides of the ball.
A game. St. Joe's Prep advances and lives to play another game. That, of course, like I said earlier, will be 11 a.m. next weekend at Northeast High School against Imhotep Charter. Winner of that makes it to the state playoffs next weekend. Of course, the city championship. But, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for us here at Wissahickon High School. Make sure to stay tuned for the postgame show with Dom Campanaro and Anthony Sorgi. But from me and Sean Drosnock, that's all we have for you here at Wissahickon High School. Your final score, 21-14 in favor of your St. Joe's Prep Hawks. Sean and I, we say good night and go Prep.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, at the scene of Wissahickon High School in Ardmore, PA. We are here. The Prep just won 21-14 versus LaSalle. Sorgi, how are you feeling?
What a win. I mean, it's not the best offensive performance we've seen this year numbers-wise, but the most impressive performance. Charlie Falk, after that interception early in the game, his awareness was phenomenal. He was almost completely mistakeless this game. The entire offense just played extremely seamlessly. And how about the defense? The secondary, phenomenal. And the rest of the squad got the job done. The most impressive win of the year, without a doubt.
For sure, Sorgi, I would say the same stuff. Charlie's awareness was just phenomenal this game. And you could really tell he had better pocket presence than he ever had before. His receivers did a really great job. Jet, Ramir, Elijah, they really came out big when Prep needed them. And obviously, I'd like to shout out the secondary. I think they played the best they've played all year. Defense in general. Everyone was giving 110%, and they just gave everything they had and left it out there on the field.
Without a doubt. And I give LaSalle credit. They didn't play terribly, but the Prep just was the better team. They were the more disciplined team. That's, I think, the biggest takeaway, as next week in the city championship, it's going to be incredible. But what a performance. And shout out to the Hawks Nest. The fans brought the energy.
The Red Sea.
Yes, the Red Sea was incredible this afternoon here at Wissahickon High School. And, yeah, credit to just this team, the fan base. Everyone showed up. They were loud. And they brought the energy, especially towards the end of the game. It felt, on the Prep sidelines, walking up and down, it felt like a home game on that side of the field.
I would say so. I mean, the LaSalle fans where me, Alex Orespi, and Anthony Correa were sitting was I mean, it was bumping when LaSalle did something, but I think overarchingly the prep side with the Red Sea they just dominated the crowd game. I mean, it was a great game overall, Sorgi. LaSalle did play very well. Joey O'Brien, JP Oates, they all had really great plays. But, you know, in the end, it was led by Ramir Hardy, Anthony Sacca, and Roman Colberdino. The Prep won. And the Prep will go face Imhotep next Saturday at 11 at Northeast High School.
11 a.m. kickoff, a nice and early one. Ooh. Man, wow, just what a game, man! Like this was a special day to be a fan of the Hawks. And if you're an Explorers team, you still got to be proud of this squad. Their first loss of the year, but they played a really solid season. But for St. Joe's Prep, even with 2 losses, they are moving on.
If I were a LaSalle fan, I would not be too upset, because after the year they've had, as you said, great year, losing their first game of the year in the first playoff game of the year, but the 2 best players on their team, Oates and O'Brien, they're only juniors. They're coming back next year. So if they can just add a couple more pieces, they might be, you know, going all the way in the state championships. And I was saying, it's really a shame that only one team from from the PCL can make it to the state playoffs. Indeed. Because I truly believe the Prep and LaSalle are maybe 1 and 2, if not, you know,
without a doubt,
1 and 3, 1 and 4 ranked best teams in the state.
Two best in the state.
This would be an absolutely electric matchup to see in the state playoffs, but it was absolutely electric here at Wissahickon High School.
Got to give credit to one guy quickly. Kai Billups, 2 touchdowns.
Kai Billups.
What a day for him. In the absence of Isaiah West, Kai Billups stepped up big time. Huge credit to him. And credit to the Prep offensive line. Didn't allow that many sacks. I think 1 or 2 maybe. Yeah. But overall, they played a good game. They opened lanes for Billups. They played solid. But again, this defense, man, holding the team who coming into this week was the #1 team in the state, holding them to just 14 points for the second time this year in regulation. It just shows that this is the best defense, and I would say the best team in the state.
I would really agree with you, Sorgi. I would say LaSalle got the better hand in the earlier matchup earlier this year, which some might call the game of the year.
Yeah.
You know, quadruple overtime. Prep could have won it, opted to go for a touchdown. Did not get the touchdown, unfortunately, but it ended up in a very close game, very, very close. But I think some Prep fans might say now that this was the game of the year, beating the biggest rivals, LaSalle, at a LaSalle home game with the Red Sea bumping, and just an absolute great game.
And overcoming adversity as well. Like,
I'd say so.
Not the LaSalle. There was a lot that went LaSalle's way today, and they just overcame adversity left and right. Every time they did it well enough to be able to win this football game. And, man, it's going to be a party on 17th and Girard for the next few days.
I'd say so, especially tonight. Homecoming.
Yes.
I mean, the vibes, I said the outcome of this game is either going to make the vibes the best they possibly could be or the worst they possibly could be. And lucky enough for everyone going, it's going to be the best vibes ever.
Yeah.
At this Prep homecoming.
That it out. And just looking, I see Ramir Hardy and Cam Smith standing on the sideline, and you think of how well those 2 guys have played this year. Ramir dealt with that injury early in the game, but he came back and he made big plays. And for Cam Smith, an incredible year. Credit to those 2 guys, and credit to the rest of this team, man.
I'd say so. I mean, Cam Smith and Ramir Hardy, you might say, were the offensive and defensive MVPs of this game. I think for the offensive MVP for the Prep, I think it's clearly Ramir Hardy.
Yeah.
78-yard touchdown catch. That really, I think that's what changed the momentum towards the Prep, and the Prep just ran with it. And I think it could go three ways for defensive MVP. I think Cam Smith, Roman Colberdino, and Anthony Sacca.
Messiah Acri.
And Messiah Acri. I think overall,
Just shows how good the defense was today.
I don't think I could pick one out of the four. I think I would have to hand it all over to them.
Yeah.
They all played amazingly. And I believe we might be getting an interview with Anthony Sacca by Dom Campanaro later tonight that will be posted.
Yeah, we've got it. Looks like Ryan, Sullivan doing interviews. Our entire incredible WSJP
Charlie Folk,
team. Yes. Our team, credit to them for doing a great job today on socials, on the broadcast, on stats. But it's not our last game of the year.
Nope, not yet. Yeah, shout out Gavin and Sean for doing a great job. Anthony, Ryan, Correa, Arespi, and myself. And Dom Campanaro, Cole Kuhn on the field.
Yes.
Everyone just did a standout job today, and it really is truly a great day to be a Prep fan.
Yes.
All right. That's going to wrap things up for today, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great day. Go Prep.